So.
So you're trying to work out the camera.
Me, yeah.
You're in the new place now, right?
No.
No?
Just from a different angle because everything's
Okay.
getting packed up, but well remembered. I am. Yeah.
Do you think 4 40mm bases for a 5er and 6 25mm bases for a 5er is reasonable?
So what was that 4
40s. 4
40s
mils
and
6 25s. Each a 5er.
Oh right, like base toppers.
No, they'd be full bases, like 3mm thick.
All right, okay, well, yeah, even better offer then.
Yeah.
I mean, the base mark is always going to be bloody Matt Davis, isn't it? So...
Oh yeah, no, and I don't do any organic kind of stuff because that's just whatever. So
would it be cheaper or quicker to just do base toppers?
To be honest,
not really.
To be honest, I can print 4 40mm and 12 25mm. So
When you save a lot of material if you just do toppers, though.
Yeah, and also if you're doing a full thick base, then it means that if we want to put magnets on the underside, that's more difficult. You have to drill it in.
Yeah, we can't be ruining our sponsors.
Well, it's Gorilla Glue, isn't it?
I was gonna say we haven't got a magnet sponsor yet.
To be honest,
Unless Ali's been working hard.
I use these.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, but do you remember who?
Oh, I need to just quickly let the missus in. I'll be back 2 seconds.
Ali's just frozen for me.
Yeah, I realised my Ethernet cable was half in. But, yeah, no, I recommended those to do it as well, so I may as well be sponsored by the magnet company or whatever.
Are they just go on the bottom of like a resin base?
Yeah, so because I basically I realised halfway through my Eastlings are stuck on resin bases, and so like the little magnets weren't going to work, and then I just got the discs, and they're really easy. You literally self-adhesive stick them on.
Yeah,
makes the base a bit thicker, but it wasn't too bad.
I mean, it's if anything, it's a negative, right? You can be seeing slightly more.
Yeah. It's not going to benefit me because I don't have any shooting in my Easterling army. Because screw that.
Yeah. But are they like strong? Because the little neodymium ones are so good. I can sort of stick a metal monster sideways on a wall with 3 of them.
Yeah, no, they're really strong actually. Like as in, let me just. Is it to hand? Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, but you should turn it upside down. Just crash, tinkle, tinkle.
Yeah. So.
Oh, blimey. Okay.
The
only thing if it went flying.
the only thing I'll say is because they don't have the friction a normal base does, they're not going to fall off, but they may, especially the cavalry ones, they may slide around a bit. But they're not going to actually fall off.
Helps on the neoprene mat, right? Just slide the models rather than pick them up.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no. So they're fine basically. In honesty.
But then if you put them in a RUB, then you're not going to have an edge to sort of slide them to. So you're going to have to strain every time you pick the base up. Is that gonna?
Oh no, it's literally it's satisfying rather than difficult.
Okay.
It's like just putting a magnet on the fridge.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I remember there was just because we're on magnets, I remember watching a 40k video where someone had done very similar, and they were on a custom board, and half the board had metal in it.
Oh.
All right. Yeah.
So they placed the model down, and you just go whip. They just attach. I've also seen that happen I had that with my Mirandans had the magnet at the side of the base, and someone else had the magnet at the side of the base. So like we'd move them base contact, and they just
amateur mistake.
Yeah.
No, I haven't had any of that issues like in the last 2 events that I've played at. I just
the worst is if they repel.
Oh yeah. It's just the control zone.
Does it deal with heavy stuff as well?
Yeah, so half of my Easterlings are metals.
enough.
Yeah,
I found
it's-
bat swarms to be a pig because they're surprisingly heavy.
bat swarms are quite top heavy, aren't they, as
Yeah.
well? I imagine it would be fine.
You
Fair
should
enough.
you should
Give
see
it a
the
look.
you should see the base Sean's put his Boromir on.
Oh yeah.
It's one of Matt Davis's hero bases, and I think personally they look ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit too much because I actually read an article about. I feel like we're going into actually doing our sort of like YouTube
Some
podcast
content.
with no one watching. But, about someone who's like a golden demon painter, and he stopped doing overly, like when he's doing armies and units, and that he doesn't do it on massively scenic bases because that actually makes it look worse than if they're all on just like standard cool bases.
Yeah, there's definitely some which look nicer when it's a more simplistic, really nice but simplistic base. Like even just like on some like a plinth or something like that.
Yeah.
But then you see, it's kind of one of the reasons I don't like the Thranduil scenic base. I feel like there's a bit too much on it, and it's just like if some people, it's the same with dioramas and some army displays. There's just too much going on. I'm just like, okay, like it looks cool, but the models are kind of gone.
Would you get away with playing the Thranduil on Moose on the full size thing it comes on? Like, this is on the base it came with, just this massive.
It does slip in and out is the only thing, but I'd let you do it at my event, just like, especially if you were playing someone who got really like annoyed by it.
Works for me.
No, that's the issue with me as a TO. If I can see like someone's getting really pissed off by it, I'm more likely to enjoy them being pissed off, so I'll vote against them.
Didn't mean to do that.
Ready when you launch us?
Yeah, just about to.
You're wearing more colour than I've seen you since last time you wore that shirt.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the?
I don't know. Are we live? I don't think we are.
Oh,
I imagine if we have been this whole time.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, it won't be much different to our usual like ramblings by this point.
I think we
Oh,
are.
it says what live
It's
now.
all live. We're all talking.
Cool.
Yeah, we are live.
Okay.
I can see myself hit myself in the face with the ruler.
How
Right.
long have we been live?
I am
People
not
in the
sure.
chat, let us know.
Was there actually a starting screen, or did it just go straight live? And everyone just heard Alistair insult them.
I have no idea. So anyway,
It says started streaming 7 minutes ago. So
Uh,
that would have been when I joined.
oh
If that's
God,
accurate.
no idea.
Yeah. I've just gone back in the video. It's before Ali joined.
Okay.
Great.
Thankfully, there's nobody watching. So it's all right.
They saw Dewi running away.
It's just
Yeah. Okay.
it's
Excellent.
Louis. Who's Nano Dave?
That is Mr. Clark.
Hello.
So yeah. So good evening and welcome to the utter nonsense that is
Professional.
the Guardians show. We still haven't got a name. Ali was thinking like Guardians of the Court or something like that. But hey ho, we are off now. Okay.
So smooth.
We are, yes. So welcome.
You would have thought we'd get better, like on our fourth show or whatever it is now, rather than worse.
I don't think so. Where's the fun in that? So I'm still just trying to put a few bits and pieces together because I've had a busy day. So welcome. I am Dewi, runner of the Guardians of Wiltshire YouTube channel. And this is our general nonsense rambling kind of podcast show that we do every 2 weeks. So we've got a couple of topics lined up. We'll run through what everyone's done in the last 2 weeks, which hopefully won't take too long. Hint, hint, team. Because we tend to spend about half an hour on that. And then we'll move on to our time top 5. We'll do a little bit of a tournament review from the Lair of the Dragon, which Ali attended the weekend. And then we'll do another time top 5, and we'll go through some topic if someone wants to. I know we've had suggestions about tournament formats and point scoring, etc. And we've had tournament etiquette is another one that's popped up. So we'll just randomly chat through whatever we will get through. So, gents, what have we been up to in the last 2 weeks?
I can go first because mine's really quick.
Go on then. Nothing.
I think the only thing that could even be classed as possibly hobbying is trying to think of ideas for what I actually want to play this edition.
Okay.
So Helmingas, isn't it?
That's like Fairden's God is a potential, but I think I was talking to
Fairden's God? You making up your own legions?
Phaedrons. Potential because of Helmingas, but I was talking to Josh about this, and it's like I feel like I liked playing the Helmingas because no one did.
But
And
to be
then-
fair,
Right.
no one's
like-
playing Phaedron's God apart from me at the moment.
I mean, of what we've seen,
Yeah.
because I felt like quite a lot of people are probably playing it that aren't going to tournaments as well. But then I think the only ideas that I can come up with is the pain of playtesting the hobbits. The
Pain for who? You or your opponent?
both of us, because I'm gonna have no idea how to play them, and then no
See-
idea how to see if it's any good.
So I did a practice game against Dave Farmer, who was taking hobbits to Lair of the Dragon, and we ended up doing Storm the Camp. So that was a nice draw.
The issue is he's got ambush, so
Well, I waited until turn 3, so I knew where his ambush came up. So it was literally, I didn't really do much until I knew where they came up, so I didn't get screwed.
That's true, yeah. But it's So hobbits, Wolves of Isengard are the only two I can think of. Potentially Dumbledore, but after World Champion wreaked havoc with that. I guess it wasn't pure Dumbledore, but Dumbledore-ish list.
I thought Kalman's done that.
Camel's done the
with the
Necromancers.
Nazguls.
I don't want to do Nazgul.
You want to do like
I
actual
want to do troops and stuff, yeah. So still trying to work out something weird and wacky, which can actually work. that not a lot of people are playing
Weird
because
and wacky.
I'm weird like that.
To be fair, I tend to go for those lists, which is why I've taken Helmingas away from you.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. I think I'll
Oh
have
yeah, there
to-
was another person using Phaedr's Guard. Ryan Wood in the chat just said. And there were 2 Hammerhand Legions. I'll talk about that anyway later.
yeah. Cool.
That's all I've been doing.
Alistar.
Cool. I went to Lair and the Dragon, so I'll talk about that later, I guess, when we're doing the tournament review.
Yeah.
And then apart from that, I've been asking Dewi to 3D print things that I can just do with green stuff much easier and quicker.
Yeah, so Ali's example was, can you print me some plumes to convert Outriders? And I was like, you literally just get a bit of green stuff, stick it on the helmet, and do some lines on it.
Yeah, I literally
no
forgot
was my
green stuff is
answer.
a thing. I just like, Dewi likes doing all this stuff rather than his real job. I'll just get him to do it for me.
There is, I think it's Anvil Miniatures do 2 varieties of plumes to put on top of helmets.
They're alright.
So I can be lazy if I want.
You mean you're
But I feel like-
going to be lazy?
No, I'll just do green stuff.
When it's, I
literally
guess
there.
you magnetize. I was just thinking if it's going to fall off, but if you're magnetizing everything, then it
Well,
won't.
It's because I got a bunch of Rohan plastic archers, which I'm not going to use really for anything. So I'm just like, I may as well
Dismounts
convert
for
them to
what?
Outriders.
Dismounts
buy
for
them
Rise of
anymore?
Rohan?
Yeah, but I don't actually use Riders of Rohan
Hmm.
Well,
because I'm a maverick, remember?
change your
Royal
army.
Guard are too good. That's the issue. They've boxed out riders.
No, I
in a
still
lot of-
think
No, I think Riders are still
are-
really...
I like Riders. I prefer
Actually-
Riders.
In my list, Riders actually still have a place in Phaedron's Guard because they still can go to fight 4, but they also have the access to strength 4 because they can piercing strike, which Royal Guard can't.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
And then they've
Just
got
pay a
those.
point.
But I'm not taking
yeah,
that anyway, so...
yeah, unless you give Royal Guard max.
Mhm.
Yeah, which... Screw that. Too much
Maybe I do
effort.
Royal Guard on foot with axes.
No, Royal Guard on horse with axes and throwing spears, Geffen. That's your niche.
Sons of Aeol.
Well, you're saying about doing the wolves, and actually, I quite like the look of that Legion, but for the fact that every 6 models is 25 quid. and they only cost like 11 points a model.
I think I've already got like 40. So
I was going to say,
I've got a lot.
a couple of months ago, I got 2 kind of small job lots off eBay for like between 12 and 16 quid, and each one had like 10 Wild Riders, and I was like, excellent.
I was going to say Wild Riders are quite cheap. I see a lot of people on trade pages throwing up posts of like bulk stuff, and the Wild Riders are always quite cheap. It's like £1 a model.
I honestly thought you said throwing up. Like, what trade pages are you on? Can I just point out how like we got so many people plugging stuff like in their names in the chat, because there's support Rebel Base Gaming, Saw Painting Studio.
Where's this chat?
Oh, it's on the YouTube.
It's on the YouTube video, yeah.
So I can watch ourselves back moving around in a 30-second delay or whatever it is.
I mean, I'm technically plugging
mine's way later than that. I've still just got Ryan Wood's Daedra's Lair at the Green Dragon. That's my latest, and now that's going to come in about a minute later. What I'm saying, I'm going to set off a nice chain. Yeah.
So CJ, what have you been up to?
Putting things in boxes. We're going to get into the company sponsor immediately. That's you're just moving house. So the last time I did a major move, I wasn't there at the time, so my grandmother took it upon herself to individually bubble wrap all of my models.
Oh,
like
wow.
a mad woman. So I don't know what I'm going to do this time, but it's
how many models was that?
Much less at the time than it is.
Okay.
The thing that I was more thinking is also you then have to individually unbubble wrap every one of your models.
Yeah, that was an interesting period of my life, and with scissors and bubble wrap.
You say period makes it sound like you've done it over like 2 years or something.
Right, I imagine it took an age.
Yeah, just slowly got them out over a period of a couple of months. So I'm not doing that again. Yeah, apart from that, I'm looking at a couple, like something I can do just before. I've got about 4 weeks before I kick off the new house, new job, whatever. So
nice.
Like I've got all these little projects that I've started but not finished over the years, and it's like, well, decision fatigue. Do I do my Ent army that I've been building, or my zombie orcs, or And in the end, none of them will get done. That's just
that is the correct way to hobby.
Yes.
Was it you and we were talking to the other day about our piles of shame, Dewi?
Yes, it was. When was this? Yesterday.
It was only yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah.
So,
he was complaining about having a big pile of shame. He's only just getting into the hobby.
Yeah, he's 17 and he lives local to me. And he was like, "Oh, I've got like 100, 150 models," and I was like, "Dude, I've probably got that in Warriors of Minas Tirith alone."
Yeah,
I remember my old manager at one point. It's like he used to play 40k ages ago, and then just randomly went to Games Workshop and bought like 2 stock collecting boxes. He was like, "My girlfriend was furious. I've opened it and only built a few models. Oh, there's so much left there." I'm like, "You serious?"
That meant nothing.
Yeah.
Like, even people who have been in the hobby a long time, when I get talking about my collection, they're like, "Wait, what?"
See, I don't count yours as a pile of shame though, because they're not unfinished projects. Most of them.
Most of them aren't even started projects.
Yeah, they're just like, I've got them, so if I want to do it, I can. If not, you can sell it on for exactly the same price.
I don't sell.
Yeah.
I don't sell.
But Chloe will do behind your back in about 10 years' time.
No, she's genuinely, she's really supportive. She's like, "It's your hobby. As long as you've got money for everything else." Like, it's the one thing that I do, or bar hockey is kind of like the one thing, my one hobby and like expenditure. So
At least you're not spending it on drugs.
Exactly.
Yes, you are.
Just plastic crack.
Yeah. Well, in a couple of months, you'll have no hobbies at all. So make the most of it.
Yeah.
I know so many people around our age who are having kids at the moment. They're all like, "Oh, I need to go to tournaments before it comes, and then I can't do anything."
It'll be fine.
Have you genuinely had? Because I've been very lucky with my last 2 relationships where they've been, they'll sit and do the painting with me, or they'll sit and do their own hobby while I paint my miniatures, and they're actually go and do the tournament, have a good time. But I know lots of people in the hobby where it's like almost a constant battle with their partner, Just like I need to go do my nerdy thing. Let me.
It was a little bit at the start of the relationship, sort of, in terms of why do you keep going away every single weekend? And it's like, because I do nerd stuff. But no, it doesn't really have an issue with it. It's sort of fine. As long as I also, the thing that I'm in now is like, if I'm willing to drive up to Nottingham or Manchester or Preston or wherever to do a tournament, I'm also willing to drive her up to whatever she wants to do. So I don't have an excuse for us not to drive 4 hours to Snowdonia or like Lake District.
You shot yourself
or
in the
that.
foot a little bit with that.
I mean, I don't mind doing that stuff anyway, but it's just like, so I just went to Cardiff last weekend, obviously, and then this weekend, she was just like, oh, should we go camping in the Peak District? And I kind of like need a weekend off. But I was just like, I can't say no. But, yeah.
What you could do is take them along when you go to Manchester. You take them along with you, and then you go to the tournament, and she goes to the Arndale.
We were
or
genuinely considering that for Stirling in Scotland at one point because she wants to visit sort of like the area.
It's a lovely area.
I think someone did that in
It's a lovely
2018.
area.
I'm pretty sure someone. I know that's one thing that Ian Spiller's parents used to do.
Although he also couldn't go without them, like back in the day.
Same, I know Joe Wilcock as well. Yeah. His dad used to go along and then go and do some stuff.
Is it just me that just assumed they were friends? Like, like, is they going? They were the two similar age, small.
I mean, I think
not small children anymore, but like I was like, they must know each other.
Yeah. Now Joe was Manny Cowman's protege.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen Joe for a while. He probably like. I mean, I haven't seen anyone for a while, really.
He basically went, what's called, studying really hard for his A levels, and is now at university, I think, in Nottingham.
Oh, nice.
Convenient.
Yeah.
That's what I said to him. He's just like, well, my dad did joke about that.
No, close.
He's probably still studying though.
My missus is like I said, she's absolutely fine with it. To be fair, when we met, I was still living with my parents, and the first time she came into my room, I had a glass a wooden cabinet with big sliding glass doors that was probably.
Well, that one there.
No, 3 times the width of this and not half the height.
Grief.
Filled with models, and she was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah, I do that," and yeah, that was basically it. So.
Mia pretended to be into it more than she actually was. Like,
oh no, Chloe has never pretended to be into it.
But to be fair, Mia's quite into like fantasy novels and Star Wars and stuff anyway, and she likes Lord of the Rings films. So she likes the genre. She just doesn't do the tabletop board game and stuff. So
my girlfriend's like, well, we started going out 2 years ago, so. A big chunk of that's been COVID. So, but before that, she was like, even then, she was like, "Oh, you should go to more tournaments. You enjoy it." So
get out of the house. So, that's actually the trick. Is it's usually fine as long as they've got their own stuff to do.
Yeah.
Because then usually they want to go do that, and then you can go do your own thing.
Well, she does crafting stuff herself. So she does. I don't know if you know what diamond painting is, but sometimes we'll sit there, watch Netflix, and I'll paint models, and she'll do her own stuff. So.
The diamond painting, is that the one when you put the tiny little gems in?
You get a canvas which has like some kind of glue on it, and then you get the diamonds and you stick them on.
Yeah, they're like what?
Really
2 mil, 2 by 2 mil?
Probably that. Yeah.
I think my missus has got some downstairs.
My girlfriend's gone a bit crazy. There is also potential that she's watching this because I think she's watched the past 2.
All right, okay.
I want to drop you in it so badly.
Very, very quick story for your girlfriend then. When I was at university, we did a lot of rock band, me and my housemates, and there was a weird skin that you could buy called the Crazy Diamond Pants, and we used to do that.
You mean the game? I was just like thinking, what you were in a rock band?
No, I did saxophone and other things, not a rock. I wish I could play guitar though. Anyway, so when I was leaving, because I finished my degree course at a different time to my housemates. I went to the Arndale, got a pair of jogging bottoms, and then just a pack of crappy Diamantes from like Hallmark. And then I spent an afternoon individually gluing these things to these jogging
that's
bottoms.
amazing.
But then he, out of obligation, wore those to our next, and then they were appearing everywhere throughout the house because they were just falling off. So that was just like, when you get sent glitter in the post. I put Diamantes everywhere.
How often do you get sent glitter in the post?
It's never happened to me, thankfully.
I think despite Dewey's original statement of we'll go through this quickly and stay on target.
No, it's about 20
I hope everyone's enjoyed the...
Yeah, no, they've actually just started talking about actual hobby while we've been started chatting about Sharky's vlogs and
Sterling is cracking talk.
Sterling, it's the one I want to go to, whether I eventually
It's in December this year, right?
Is it?
I was talking to Chris Murphy and he was saying it's December. I thought.
Yeah, it's the league finale.
Is it?
Okay, that'll be one. Yeah, I definitely won't be going to that. I think I will have other pressing issues.
I'm not sure if I'll be able to get if it's
I will
that
not
late.
be able to ignore.
That's fair.
I still haven't been because it was always on basically Maria's birthday weekend, and it was just like I can't really justify that.
You're definitely not going out that one.
Yeah, it's like I probably can't do Steve's tournament this year because Maria's birthday's on November the 5th, and then his is on the 6th and the 7th, and I was like, oh, we can go away for the weekend before or that one. Like, which one's easier? And she's like, oh, we go away on that one. It's like balls. It's like not going to actually suggest doing the other one, but it's just
I'm not going to suggest it, but you'll give her the option to choose it for you.
I'll give a plug to Kieran Street's Strider Cup, which has now had its date announced, and it's going to be the last weekend of August, which was miserable for me because that's like my favourite tournament the whole year. And so now that'll be the end of the first week. I'll be exhausted. If you haven't been, for the people listening, you do have a tournament, but mainly it's here you get one small hero that's your ring bearer and one that's your leader. Here's a list of insane things to try and achieve in your tournament, and then you get to tick them off this list, and it's way more fun. You do it as a doubles.
Yeah, he nicked the name from me, which I nicked the name from Larry Miller, like for the Strider Cup, because we were talking about doing a team tournament sort of ages ago, and we're like, it's a play on word with the Ryder Cup, so it's the Strider Cup. But
I'm pretty sure when I first got into the scene, I actually, because the first one I actually attended was Desolation of Stockport, but I think that the Strider Cup was the first one I was looking at, and then it got cancelled.
Oh yeah, we didn't get enough teams. This was back when it was a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And I think we had 2 teams that were actually signed up, and then a load of other teams that were, we're coming. And it's like,
no one actually.
Are you going to? Or I didn't just have enough people commit. So yeah.
Fair enough. Right, should we crack on with a timed top 5? I have done,
if you must.
I have done the really clever thing of leaving all my books in the garage again, so I'm going in this blind.
You just went to let your missus in. What?
Yeah, but the garage is not in my house, obviously. So
badly structured house.
Badly structured house. So
another top 5 did occur to me. You can put down. It would be models that never get used because they're supplanted in there. So you'd be thinking like Warriors of Minas Tirith with bow, just rangers, or Corsairs with bow, arbalesters, that kind of thing.
Basically, yeah.
There is an argument for Corsairs with bow.
You run Corsairs with bow.
Well, I don't have a Corsair army, but because they still get throwing weapons as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's also like.
So you've got a more mobile army.
I'm not going to give away my answers now.
Yeah. Right. Here we are then.
Oh, we have the Better Kings entered the chat.
What is my eldest brother entered? He's not even into Warhammer.
So here we are then, and we are spinning the wheel.
Oh.
Well, we wait for that. So, who is support Rebel Base Gaming?
Johnny Wright.
I thought so. I wasn't sure whether it was him or someone who was supporting him, if that makes sense.
So, the topic for this week is the most points-efficient steeds.
Steeds?
Wow. Points-efficient steeds?
Yeah. We have 5 minutes starting now.
I feel like this is going to be a quick one because it's remember what 5 steeds are.
Steed being
Do you mean
anything
like-
rideable.
Do you mean like horse of Faramir or just horse?
Well, it could be a fell beast. It could be an armored horse. It could
Yeah,
be...
not
Yeah.
for a particular character. I think just
Yeah.
Is
not
there even
like-
more than 5?
Well, yeah, you got
Yes.
unique mounts.
yes.
Yeah.
The Shadowfax count as a
Shadowfax.
separate. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm just
so-
writing a list to choose from.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Otherwise, you could go like Elendil's horse. That's the most points
Yeah.
of horse or something. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking initially.
Points efficient steed.
It's also irritating that sometimes the different costs,
that
like a
one.
warg is occasionally 7, occasionally 6. So is a horse actually. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like I think there's a couple of.
Feel like this is a terrible one.
See, last edition would have been easy because just Fell Beast. Number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
Edition,
beasts
not too
1,
much.
2, 3, 4, and 5.
I feel like it'd be easier to do the 5 least efficient mounts. Yeah.
Pony.
I'm so sad the ponies don't get knocked down. I guarantee if a pony ran at me, I'd
They-
fall on my ass.
I think if anything ran at you, Gertie, you'd fall on your ass.
Right. Points efficient.
Oh, is it points efficient though? Oh.
I don't know whether any of these are points efficient, really.
Yeah, it's like as compared to what?
Mhm.
then-
Yeah.
Who came up with this one?
I cannot remember. In my mind, it's can it get its points back? Basically, is what I'm thinking in my head.
Is a mummican a points efficient mount?
I did think about
I
that.
was thinking about Mullets and War Beasts.
Or a G,
I
or a
think-
G bog, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I can say mummics for my pure hatred of them. I'm sorry, Dan, if you're watching this. I love them, but I hate playing against them.
I don't mind
Or
playing against them,
TOing
but
them.
then I've always taken dwarfs, and it's just like dwarf hero. Okay, you're a speed bump, and now I just charge in and like chop
Mm,
you up.
Yeah, I've got some interesting ones, I think.
I've got 4. How long we got left?
2 minutes 20.
I've got
Fair
5.
I've got
I've
my
got 6.
5, I think.
Oh. It's cheating.
Oh,
Hmm.
I don't actually know which I take
Ooh.
out for that because I think that's better than theirs.
I've got a cheeky one there.
I guess I get rid of that one, put that in.
Oh, guys in the chat, what do you think?
Genuinely, what do you think? It's-
Yeah,
We have run out of.
because I've got.
I've got an honorary mention, which I'm not sure about. I actually would like to know your guys' opinion of it.
Ah, interesting. I'm trying to think of what other steeds there are.
Mhm.
Yeah, all the named ones.
I've not got a single named one.
I've got
Generally,
one.
I don't
I've
think
got,
the named ones are actually that great.
I've got one named
Maybe
one.
Shadowfax.
I've got one named
Just 'cause
one. Yeah.
Especially with the will now for Black Darts,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, damn
Well, I
it,
think-
Jay.
But you think what named ones are there? You've got Asphaleth, Theriloth.
Yeah, I'm gonna put
Don't
that
give
in.
it away.
I'm just trying to
Yeah,
run through them in
no.
my head.
Asphaleth's my 5th one, yeah.
Spoilers.
Asphaleth is 15 points, isn't it?
No, it's just 10. It's the,
Oh, is it?
it's the
Okay.
same as a
Yeah.
horse, but you get the 12-inch and the fleet foot, is
I
it?
definitely can't
so-
have that below a horse, then, can I?
got 50 seconds.
Part
What are
of
the-
mine's going to be.
Are there any 3 named horses?
Don't forget the Panther Halliday had in the old Dutch rulebook. What?
I'm guessing that's a translation thing.
Yeah.
Does Treebeard count as a mount?
I'm gonna go with no.
I would
They're
say yes.
passengers, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Therefore, does Legolas count as a mount?
Oh, there you go.
Are you saying that you would
Johnny.
mount Legolas?
Johnny's fixed
Well,
it.
Gimli does, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, that's much better, Johnny. Like, I like how you've actually got the logo as well.
We've got 10 seconds.
Say Build a Pony doesn't count because he would win just by dint of being build a pony.
Oh, he doesn't get ridden, does he?
No, that's the issue. Yeah.
He's too powerful to ride.
And that is time. So.
It's so juvenile.
So. We are going into
We do
our
top 7.
Top 5. No, not.
No. Then we're just listing every single mountain you can think of.
No, there's a bunch that I've actually not mentioned.
So. Do you want to start from 5 again, team, like we did last time?
Yeah, I think that would
Yeah,
work.
okay.
Yeah, excellent. Harry Moore has only just subscribed. Wow.
I feel like you should take
Wow.
that personally.
Just
Joe.
throwing him under the bus. Hi, Harry.
Good evening.
Oh,
Good evening,
congratulations on the baby, actually, because I don't think
Yes.
I've seen it since.
Yeah.
Mr. Oh god, yeah. And like, isn't his daughter like 1 already?
I don't know. All I remember is I went to oh god, what was it? Was it?
Was it Articon?
Yeah, I remember what I saw him at White Rose Fest, and he was on about he was going to propose like in September, and I think next time I saw him he was expecting a kid, and then I haven't seen him since then.
Oh dear. Right, go on then, Alistair. As you're already talking, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is the sleigh for Radagast.
I didn't even
Points
think.
efficient.
I was thinking about that one.
Yeah. Well, it takes Radagast from just being a wizard to being a bit of a combat monster.
Yeah.
I
It's
didn't.
so
even,
easy to flip, though. It just
Didn't
anything
even,
knocked into it, and it's gone.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, they've got to have something to knock.
it's number 5 in the list.
Yeah.
And it is compared to most other special mounts, it's still fairly cheap at 45, and you keep the stick.
True.
And it makes his nature's wrath and stuff like that huge.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. I didn't even remember Radagast Slay. I was running through everything in my head, and I was like, I think I've got everything. CJ, you're 5th.
Is Asphalloth.
As
It's 12
Asphalloth.
inch and Fleetfoot, and it's the same points as a horse. Stick it under Glorfindel with his horse lord and everything else, and he just turns into a beast.
Not Arwen.
Yeah.
I mean, Arwen's quite handy with it in the Riv Knights, and go and steal objectives and get into range to do your casting. But yeah, mainly Glorfindel.
Nice. Geffen.
Trying to think what my. I
You
think
had
right, so-
7.
I know, but the 6th and the 5th are really.
Flip a
Right.
coin.
I'll go Candace Chariot.
I
I
forgot
didn't even
about
think
those.
of chariots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again.
And
another one
after
to
like
go.
Josh Devoy told us off last time, like,
My other one was going to be a Nine Hills Goat.
Just
'cause of,
again, one I
yeah.
didn't remember.
Mhm.
So my number 5 is a spectral steed
ooh,
because
genuinely forgot about them.
it's
Didn't even think about
Along
that,
with
yeah.
everything else, apparently.
it's defense 6 horse.
Mm.
Do you
It's
know-
still,
For the
is it
price of
15
an armored
point?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 10 points.
And you get the benefit of ignoring water,
Yeah.
so,
It's,
which most horses do anyway, because you don't play deep water on boards, do you?
no, you do not. No, you do not.
Unless Ed Ball
Oh,
drowns
God.
his entire Riv Knights army in the lake
Yeah.
in the first turn. Apparently, he didn't realise that they've got expert rider, which actually helps them with swim tests. But anyway,
Does it?
moving on.
Okay. So my number
Yeah.
my number 4 points efficient steed is a war camel.
Yeah, forgot about that one as well.
Number
It's a war
4, did you
camel.
say?
Yeah, number 4 is a war camel. Points efficient, I think they must be 9 points. Because a warrior's
17.
a warrior's 8 and a raider's 17. So
Oh,
yeah.
see, I was only thinking it had to be an upgrade.
I mean, that is an
Not
upgrade, right?
necessarily.
You know, but as in like when I was
Oh,
going through
right,
the
okay.
list,
So
like
for a character and stuff.
yeah,
okay.
that's my
Yeah.
excuse is why I
Oh,
forgot them.
right,
I
okay.
forgot the chariot and all these. Oh, these chariot can't be a mount.
Chariots for kings. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just need one of those impaler hits to kill, and they've got their points back.
Mm.
So
It's a strength 4 armored horse with impale.
Is it armored?
yeah,
It's defense 5,
Defense
isn't
five,
it?
yeah.
Yeah. So it's much better value than the armored horse,
They're
which is the point of this list.
They're so fun to charge into other cavalry. It's just great. Especially if you just have a normal raider charge into a hero. You're like, oh, excellent. There's a 50-50 chance your horse is going to die.
It'd be beautiful to play a mud camelist against Royal Guard. I laugh at your heavy armor.
Yeah.
Because then they can't strike you, can they? Because they've just been dismounted unless they get a 6.
Providing they roll a 6, yeah.
Yeah. That's grim.
Yeah.
So do you then get cav bonus? If you run into it, you dehorse him, and now it's cav on infantry.
Correct.
Ooh.
Correct. They're really, really good. They die quite quickly. They only fight 3, but yeah, they're really good. I like
you don't need to have a fight value if you hit inflicted strength 4 hit on.
Oh yeah.
Strength 4 is pretty good.
The new edition, meaning you can carry on moving, makes them even better. Because I've had Hood Kings before going, I'm going to heroic combat off that guy, charge into him, kill him with Impaler. In the old edition, it was like, great. Well, great. Whereas now, I think I've had one raider that's gone through like 3 models in a turn, just one by himself. It was like,
hi, hobbits.
Excellent. But no, they're really good. They're really good. Ali, you're number 4.
You may be noticing a theme. A great eagle.
Do you like Radagast?
Yeah, he's alright. But no, to be fair, getting a monstrous cav hero with 3 might and magic and all that for only an extra, 50 points?
50 points.
Just 50. And you can stick the hedgehog on top if you want to.
Yeah, basically you get a fell beast, but your fight 7 and
defense 8.
Yeah, and all these other sort of benefits.
Yeah, very, very good. CJ?
A bit left field, I've gone with a Wag Marauder, because it's a very hard thing to try and figure out where you're getting your points worth in a Wag Marauder. But if you start with the idea that a Wag is 7 and the 3 goblins are 5 each, then that's 22 out of the 30 points. On top of that, the guy with the shield then provides D5 to the Wag, which gives it some protection against shooting. You've then got a 4 attack thing on the charge with strength 4, adds quite a good amount of punch too. And you can also get it up to fight 5 if you get with the trap and with Groblog, so actually they can turn into little battle tanks. They're not as good as they were in the previous edition, but
cause terror as well, don't you?
And they cause terror.
And also Wag starts at 8 points usually, not 7, just to help your argument even more.
Wild Wogs are 7. And
is it Fell Wogs? So
8? Yeah,
it's because I use Hunter Orcs, so I was just assuming they're 8. Screw everyone else's army. I live in my own world.
Well, don't we know it? Guessing number 4.
On topic of Hunter Orcs, Fell Wogs.
Fell Wogs. Because they're cheap and you can run around corners.
Specifically character ones. Because the warrior ones, I mean, they're not very good. Because you guys are 2 attacks anyway, so there's not really much point.
Yeah, I suppose it's just to get you to attack guys somewhere quick, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just you only take in my opinion, you don't take the Hunter Orcs on Fell Wogs for the cavalry, but at the same time you might just take them without the rider.
Yeah.
So I think you can do that right in Hunter Orcs.
Yeah.
So you just do that to save on points.
It's very strange that for the same cost as just a Hunter Orc and a Fell Wog, you get them together. But then I suppose if it was any cheaper, then what you'd end up with is people turning up with cav and then they just go dismount turn 1 and they've made...
You can lose the Wog though, right?
Yeah.
Unless you...
That's the issue actually with them being the same points, is you're not getting 2 models for the price of 1. You get 1 and not... Like, I don't know what it's like, 40% chance of still having the other one if you do dismount.
You get that with no Warg Riders, because Orcs are 5, Warg 7, and Warg Riders are 11. So you save a point. But it's the issue of, unless you've allied with Trorzag, all the Wargs are just run. Or a good portion of them. I was going to say half.
That's
hopefully more than half would run, but...
Depends if you have not thought of that.
Did you not?
Oh, I've been thinking about doing that.
That was the
years.
thing that I remember someone did in the last edition, and then turns out it was crap anyway. But
strangely, also
now as well.
So I was going to say trackers pay 7 points for a warg, and I have no idea why.
If you look at a warg rider and a tracker, a warg rider with
Trackers
bow
are 4+, but losing the armor.
Yeah, a tracker's 5 points to start with, and a warg rider is 11 points base.
But
I
you,
suppose
so-
the
But
shoot
you
value
give
is
him-
better on a fast-moving warg.
yeah, you give the warg rider an orc bow. Suddenly they're the same points, and you're literally just trading shoot value for defense.
Just a bit odd, given that on balance, wargs appear to be 5 or 6 points compared to the orc profile.
Yeah, I think wargs are pretty
I
good
guess.
actually for their strength 4 knockdown.
With your fell warg, I also put a thing in for Bulk's fell warg. Because
Yeah.
the stretch limo is a laugh, but actually the fact he's got that oval base with a very narrow aperture means that he can hit 3 models at once quite
Just reverse
happily.
parking in like
Yeah,
parallel
yeah.
park. I've done that a few times.
But that
It's
helps
also
Bulk's
awkward to
rule.
trap.
So,
Yeah,
It could be really awkward to trap that base.
yeah.
It can also be really easy depending on how you do it.
It can also be really awkward to use that base, so
Yeah, I've had to use it quite a lot.
yeah,
So
double-edged sword.
I say
Yeah.
have to. No one forced me to take that one.
you spanked me at David Clubley's
Whoa.
event with Bulk on warg. I had some experimental Rivendell, and you just like, here's Bulk.
Oh
going,
god,
nah,
yeah,
nah, nah,
I
nah,
remember
nah.
that. You played that quite well, but then it was literally, I think, Glorfindel went into Bulk and then was like, "Oh, I still can't actually wound you because you're defense 7 and only strength
Yeah.
4." And then Bulk
That
got
was
like one of them and just went, "Ugh."
Yeah.
Strength 5 burly, reroll 1s to wound as well.
Thanks.
Orcs a bit
Yeah.
nasty.
His
Yeah.
ability to just reliably remove 2 to 4 elves a turn when you're at 500
Yeah.
points just means that.
Well,
No.
I was talking to Jamie Wiggins, who went to Valleyball on the weekend, and he said he played a bulk list with lots of scouts, and at the end of the game, the only thing left alive on one side was bulk, and on the other side was like Lurtz or like a warrior, an Uruk scout, like just one. Turns out he'd massacred Bulk's army, but Bulk got 16 kills. And it was just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that is understandable.
that
You
is,
get Mighty Hero once you
Yeah.
Yeah,
get
when he goes.
yeah.
The only thing I say about that, usually if Bulk's done 10 wounds, you've already won the game, and Mighty Hero makes no difference whatsoever.
it just means you can mop up really
I was gonna say it
quickly.
allows you to. It does allow you to table and potentially go for the 12 points because you've got the models to be able to get through onto their objectives and not worry about being
Yeah.
outnumbered or.
I mean, the thing is, when I
like
take
that.
Bulk, he normally has Master of Battle anyway, so it's not like
I guess.
Might's been a
Yeah,
short
it's,
supply.
it's when Bulk has Master of Battle and Mighty
And
Hero.
Mighty
You're
Hero.
like, well, great.
Is there going
I mean, I
like,
guess-
he laughs at Helm Hammerhand at that point.
Yeah.
When you get Mighty Hero, the Master Battle becomes useless, right? Because if you've got to that point in the game, they probably don't have might.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just generally
Yeah.
by that point, you've already won. Let's face it.
Yeah.
And if you
Essentially, you're
haven't,
just replacing one rule with another, right?
yeah,
But do you find that actually it's really like with the Marauder, it's just so fragile. One lucky shot and so much of his kill potential is taken away.
no, because he can still kill 2 models a turn on
Strip them
foot
off,
so
yeah.
reliably. He's wounding most things on
The strength 5 with
4s
Burley.
or 3s, and if
Yeah.
he's facing orcs or elves, he gets orcs or elves, dwarfs or elves, he gets to reroll the 1s anyway. So
So yeah, it's pretty nasty.
Bulk's one
Yeah.
of those models which is never going to struggle to kill. It's like Dwalin. Bulk and
Yeah.
Dwalin are never going to struggle to kill it.
Yeah, pretty much. CJ, you're number 3, please.
Is the Humble Camel.
The Humble War Camel.
is that as opposed to the like really boastful camel?
Yeah,
They're so
the Mahut
good.
King on the camel with his.
Yeah.
Ah, he's amazing. He's amazing. Alistair.
My number 3 is a horse.
Just a horse.
Pluck that out of thin air right there. Did you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's deniable. It's pretty point sufficient on most heroes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Mhm.
Gethin.
Well, my upgrade on the previous one, Warg Rider.
Well, great.
Because it's not just efficient on the heroes, it's good on the troops as well.
Yeah,
Mm.
It's just,
just a
yeah,
what?
was it 6 points?
6,
for
7 points. Something
strength
like that,
4.
Yeah.
Like you charge, sure you'll fight 3, but if you win the fight,
And
that's 4 strength 4 strikes, probably 5s to kill most. And, it's just,
and it can stay around.
and it can stay around,
Mhm.
yeah. Which mine are very good at doing, so I like them for that.
It's so gonna run away every single time now.
Probably. The Cowman's complained many times about my courage checks.
Cowman's always gonna
Great.
complain.
So my number 3 is the Royal War Mummock.
I never knew it was actually called the Royal War Mimic until earlier today when I saw someone posting like, "Is the Royal War Mimic coming back in stock or something like that?"
No, he is the Royal War Mummock. Having tusk weapons and
I guess
the
loads of goodies, right?
sigils and gnarled hide, I think it is.
Mhm.
It just, and then obviously you've got the Mud War Leader on top, who is awesome.
Because he gets a bunch of heroic stuff that actually affects the mimic or something, right?
Yeah, especially in the Grand Army of the South, you can call a strike from atop the Mummock. And you can call heroic combat on top of him, providing he's in combat with the enemy leader.
So is the Royal War Mimic the king? Is the Mimic the king, or the member of the royal family?
Mummock War Leader is the king.
But he's not called a king. So like he's the war leader. There are kings, but it's the Mimic which is the royal thing in that
I
partnership.
have no idea.
Yeah. I'm sure that there's leaders of elephants and stuff. So.
Yeah.
I've decided he's King Elephant, basically.
Excellent.
The issue is you're running with a mummock.
What's the wrong with that?
I hate mummocks.
So my number 2 is the Humble Felbeast.
Same here.
Is that your number 2? Is that one nice?
Yeah.
I haven't even got Felbeast on my
I
list.
don't think Felbeast are points as efficient as they used to be, like by any stretch.
No, but they were OP to hell and back in the last.
Yeah, but I mean, generally because of where a lot of the wraiths actually don't need the Felbeast. There's normally a lot of
It could be a horse.
points.
Yeah.
Like the Witch King can take the crown on a horse, and sometimes that's a better option. And often, like a lot of the
it's a cheaper option.
Basically, I think the Felbeast gets your wraith killed. I'm not saying it's a bad option.
It can do. I think you see people overstretch with Felbeast quite a lot, especially in this edition.
Mm-hmm.
Although, as somebody that spent about a year playing Shadow Lord on Felbeast, it does. Yeah. Well, he's just
basic. That's the thing.
It does. For 50 points, I just thought you got so much out of that. You got a monster with might, with the ability to fly, with a rider that can pull things out of position. It's
I think it's the threat range, along with if you say like the Pole of Darkness, it's bigger because he's on a 60 mil base.
Hey, it's not all about size, Dewi. You should know that.
No, it's about girth.
60 mil base worth of girth.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, no, I think it's the threat range that the Felbeast gives the Wraith is one of the.
I think my issue is because of the threat range, people then put their Wraiths in dangerous positions.
Oh yeah, massively.
And maybe because I've spent so much last edition playing against Felbeast when they were better, it's now like now they're worse. They're also easier. I still know how to deal with them because I had to when they were horrible.
Yeah.
For the general
I put it at like
player,
5 on the list.
Yeah, maybe for the general player, it's not a second on the most efficient, but someone who's good with using a Felbeast definitely up there.
Yeah. So Geffen, yours is number 2.
I got a camel.
You've got the war camel. Excellent.
Just the strength 4, the fact that you can get your points back without having to fight.
Yeah, it's great.
Like even if it's just like one model, like obviously it's not points to points back, but you're usually outnumbered as cavalry, so if you can kill models before you have to actually fight.
I realise how stupid my list is because I forgot about like cows and wargs and all of this stuff.
What's your number 2 then?
Asphalath.
Which
I only remembered because generally I thought it was 15 points, which is why I didn't have it at first.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Go for your number 1 then, Ali.
A warg.
A warg.
Yeah.
Generally, on an orc, you become strength 4, he can stick around and you get a movement bonus, and it's cheap.
Yeah, definitely. They're something that I think should be included in every Mordor, Isengard, Angmar army. They're just
You want
Which is why I don't.
I put like at least 3 in every single list that can take them, just for the 3 points for recon.
yeah.
Okay, I was about to say why 3 specifically. But,
It is
recon
always at
makes
least 3.
sense.
Do you not-
Obviously, you can then also do 2 and then dismount for the 3rd
Yeah.
and keep one around. But yeah,
I was
I
gonna
will
say,
sometimes-
also like just everything to do with those. Like that's how I won one of my games at Ardacon.
Yeah.
I was against one of the Spanish players, and I basically did one more rider down the flank, one walk down the other flank, just run. He was just shooting them, and I was just dodging between terrain. And they just got off, and I won it.
Yeah, they use for my Angmar armies, like nearly always have 2.
But the Wild Wargs or the Warg Riders in
Well,
that list?
Warg Riders. I have toyed with going like 1 Warg Rider, 2 Wild Wargs, or the other way around. I'm not entirely sure which way is better at the moment.
It's because for 4 points more than a Wild Warg, you get the Cav rules and you get so much more survivability.
Yeah.
Wild Wargs are 1 dice, and if they lose, they die.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they're
It would purely be an objective grabbing / a model.
It used
to
to be
trap
a
models
single
with.
drop was the thing that people did with it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's also so. I remember when I was working out 500 points because Cam was trying to practice for Johnny's event, and I did the Wolves of Isengard. It worked out that I could have, if I dropped down 1, it was like sacrifice a Warg Rider, I'd get 2 Wild Wargs and then 5 Throwing Spears. That's just like, or just the Warg Rider and then like a couple of Throwing Spears. So I thought the extra model should be beneficial. Then I got 2 models that I don't care about that could just go for the objectives.
I think
some scenarios need infantry
Yeah.
for picking up the prize or the relic and that thing.
And Warg, the fact that Warg is infantry,
Yeah.
it's really good.
So
that's another thing I've used them for. Like just I think it was seize the prize at one world, medal the borders of forest, and I had Warg Riders against Rohan. So I just walked up, dismounted, walked, survived, walked 5 inches into the forest onto the objective.
Yeah, nice. And like I think in the Wolves
nice.
in the Wolves of Isengard list that I've written, every single one has 6 Wild Wargs, just because of the ambush special rule. So
Like Johnny's
So I
message,
just
and I
read
think
Johnny's
everyone's-
comment.
where did he
practiced, it
where did
didn't
he
show.
finish? Where did he finish, Johnny?
He finished 3rd.
Oh dear.
To be fair, it was one practice game.
Hey, all the best
Maybe
people
2.
will finish 3rd.
Lovely.
No, it's
No,
spoilers for later.
Clubly finished his 4th.
Yeah, Clubly normally like chokes.
CJ, what's your first?
I know it was 2nd actually. I'm sorry.
For Raddy's Great Eagle, for pretty much all the reasons we discussed for Fell Beast, you just give a magician a hero, a monster hero.
That is exactly my first choice as well. Because they're better than a Fell Beast. It's essentially the reason. Geffen, what wacky choice have you got as your number 1?
It's not completely wacky, I don't think. Shadowfax.
Okay.
Because it breaks
got
the
will.
FAQ and angers like an entire like generation of SPG players.
I mean, that is technically the reason, because now Black Dark could target mounts. The fact that you've got a mount with will. Also, Shadowfax's movement 12.
Yeah.
Question mark?
I think Shadowfax is the issue is
Yeah.
you have to pay 20 points for it.
Yeah.
That's true.
And 90% of the time I feel like you're not actually. I wish
But
Shadowfax
it's-
had an attack. If Shadowfax had an attack and could stay around when you get mounted, then I would actually like think it's worth it. But it's the fact you can just get knocked over and then
That's
like suddenly
true.
Shadowfax runs away.
But then from playing, like, I didn't run Felbeast loads, but I used to run a lot of like Saruman and Gandalf. And if you lose that horse, especially to like a Black Dart, your wizard's probably dead. Whereas if you got Shadowfax being able to resist the will, the extra 2 inches can be really good for positioning certain spells and just you've then got a throw
Just
range of 24 inches.
As a counterpoint, though, if Gandalf can take a normal horse, he can. What's the spell?
Fortify
Fortify
spirit
spirit himself, which also affects the horse, which then gets the 2 dice to resist.
Can't you do that with Shadowfax?
That's fair.
Shadowfax has got
Yeah,
a
no, you can
fate
do that with
point as well.
Shadowfax, but I just mean generally, like
Yeah,
you could do that
Shadowfax
on a
got
normal
fate.
horse anyway with him.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, when the Witch King controversially knocks Gandalf off Shadowfax does not run. He stands there like a lamb kebab in front of the Fell Beast.
like a piece of Tesco meat.
Yeah.
I feel like the Lord of all Short Horses should be able to like take a warg on. But he Shadowfax kicks Denethor, so he's clearly attacked someone and just like
It's true.
Yeah.
and even in the film you see him running on his own up to like Gandalf, so quite clearly he's
Knows how to,
or she.
Or it's the handler dressed as Gandalf, but yeah.
Yeah.
Put it this way, that all the characters are played by actors. See,
It's not actually Gandalf. So the one that I was really questioning about, and I'd like to hear your opinions on, is Ironhill's Chariot.
Oh.
I've used one at 2 tournaments. They're a complete pain in the arse.
That is true.
They just don't. I mean, I always took it with a captain in the top. I think if you take it without a hero to be able to do the moves and whatever, and the march, you can really catch people out with the march. That, oh crap, you've got extra range now.
I think you're better off taking a captain, not on the chariot, but having one next to it.
Nearby.
That probably is true, to be honest. I was doing it as a green ally to my Lake Town just because I thought it'd be a laugh. The crossbow repeater thing is quite handy, but the issue is, and this is why I don't like the sleigh, the drake, the dragon, having that annoying giant base just means you are going to get stuck so often where you just can't get through terrain, you can't angle it, you just get taken out the game. And then it's also quite easy if your opponent's got compel and they're just like turn you around, off you go.
You haven't been able to do that for a few years now.
Well, you target the driver with compel.
Pretty sure you
just
can't.
turn them around.
You can.
The sleigh you have to do the.
With the chariot.
With the chariot, you've got to do the extra turns. I don't think you can do a 180 anymore.
No, but they just turn you 45 and then send you in a different direction.
Oh, right, okay.
And then
The thing that I will say is though, with those big bases, on the flip side, you can really block off a bit of terrain by just like sideways parking in those guys.
You can also shuffle models with the turn rate, like not even like enemy models. You can actually, in some really weird situation, you can have your models here, shuffle it to like kick them forwards and then move them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a filthy move.
That's a great move.
I've never seen someone do it. I've just always thought about it.
But
yeah,
one
it's
of
definitely
the ideas I know, I think it was one of the American guys actually did it at Ardicon, where they basically brought the chariot with wizards, and then you charge the chariot in. Everyone then surrounds the chariot, and then he sorcerer's blasting because the chariot can't get knocked over. You then hit and knock everyone down.
That's. Ugh. They're just never going to come close to making their points back. It's got a similar issue with the Mumak, where you're not going to get a lineup of troops because your opponent's not going to be that stupid. You're going to hit a hero and go stop.
You say that. Ardicon doubles, me and Kalman took, it was Dane on Pig, Chariot, Legolas on Horse, Thranduil on Elk, and that chariot demolished 90% of a Hobbit army.
Well, yeah, but Hobbit, that's a chariot's dream, isn't it?
Still lost.
You still lost.
Paladin took was the leader hiding behind a wall at the back.
Oh, God.
Speaking of the chariot, I wish that we hadn't forgotten the Khandish King's chariot, because for 30 points, that's a hell of an efficient.
Right.
But yeah, the rest of us.
I actually think the Khandish King chariot is probably the most points efficient steed. Now I've remembered it.
One thing that I love is no one mentioned the Wild Warg or the White Warg, and I'm okay with this.
It's
I think that's overpriced.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's
because
more.
I forgot about it.
No, I remembered it, but the thing is, you're paying 45 points for 3 extra might, which is really good, and 2 wounds. But you're already paying 175 or whatever it is for Azog, and
I'd
it
rather
doesn't
normal warg.
actually increase Azog's killing ability loads. It's
No,
like going,
no,
you-
not really.
yeah, you're basically
You don't need the
paying.
knockdown, really.
I think you're paying at like 20 points extra than what the benefit brings in some ways.
I'd rather just have a normal fur warg.
But actually, I feel like that's a
But-
problem more with Azog than the Warg, to be honest.
I was going to say, you just use the might to call her at combats, and then suddenly, cool, Azog's still got his might to do whatever if he needs.
Just
to.
a bit overkill in a way.
Yeah.
It's why
Whereas, like-
Bolg's Warg is so much more cost effective, because it's 10 points and it doubles like his killing ability.
Yeah.
As a quick honourable mention before moving on, when this edition started, it was the first day that the book had been out, and I was at a little mini tournament with Ed Ball, and he was actually pointing at the Great Beast of Gorgoroth, going, so for this points cost, you get 9 orcs with bows, then you get a big wart. It's like 125 points, that profile.
Correct.
I like them.
So, and then you get 2 might points, and then, so, I mean, he was clearly scouting out for the new, most points efficient models in the game to build around. But yeah, they are quite the 9 shots for free harassing your opponent,
and it's 5 pluses
Good.
because they don't count as moving.
Yeah, and you actually do a good impact hit, and you've got a good survivability for
And
what
also
it costs.
You walk on an objective, you got 10 medals on it. Hold ground. Hello.
Does that count as that?
Yeah, there are 11. There are 11 models on a base.
Oh, 11, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Because the beast, the the 9 orcs, the commander, and the beast.
It's also not the charge isn't terrible. I used one at Sterling, just as like a kind of a fun list. And I actually really enjoyed using the beast.
Yeah,
you
you
don't expect them to run things over, but when it does, it's pretty cool.
It's 2 strength 6s, which is
well, that's what I mean. Yeah, you don't go for the big play of this beast is going to run through 20.
No,
but if it runs through like 1 or 2, it's like hell yeah.
No, against Clubby, I just charged mine at Thor and caused 2 wounds.
And you can also run your own stuff over if it's in the way.
Yeah.
Which is the wonderful, because monsters run into that as a problem far too much.
Yeah.
It's why I like Gunderbad Troll? No.
It's the Ogres, isn't it? Yeah.
Squishy.
Yeah. No, I think they're very good, but don't count on the bows to do anything.
Yeah.
No.
Because of how they're positioned, you can't ever fire all 9 at one thing.
Unless you charge in the middle. Oh, one thing, yeah.
But even
4 will
then,
go that way, 4 will go
yeah,
that way.
even
one just shoots up.
Yeah. Even then, like the 3 at the back, they're still.
There's only 9 as well. Can't even volley fire.
Yeah, because there's there's 2 in the way. Like 2 in front of them, they can't shoot through them, obviously. Right, should we quickly jump into the tournament that was run at the weekend by Mr.
The Dragon one.
Matt King. This is Lair of the Dragon, run by Matt King in Cardiff, and it was an 80.
I'm say run by Laura more than Matt, really.
Okay.
Is it the new venue yet? Or...
No,
it
got delayed slightly, but I think the new Interwest, the Interwest at the end of August will be at the new venue.
Matt, Matt, if you're still in the chat, let us know.
If it was a bit later, I might be able to attend.
Yeah. So this is a 450-point 2-day event.
It's basically Into the West.
As Into the West as it should have been, and it was Swiss ranked, if I'm correct, Ollie.
Yeah.
Nice. So it was just a standard tournament. Nothing really strange. The secret missions, yeah. So Matt has many secret missions.
Isn't it always in Cardiff?
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that
it's what makes your
always
tournament
done
unique.
Yeah, so it being 450 points, which
so essentially you get a pack of 10.
Oh,
or is
no,
it
it's
12?
more than that, I think.
Is it 12?
I'm gonna say it's 12.
No, the Into the West is still at current Firestone venue. So, Matt, how many secret missions do you have? Essentially, you have a bunch of secret missions, and at the start of each game, they're moving on the Monday or the Sunday evening.
The Sunday evening, not even like the day after.
That's so funny.
Just the whole place. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So you have however many secret missions, and you pick 3 at the start of each game and put them face down. So there's 14 at this event. you put them face down, and your opponent picks one of the 3 for you, and you have to try and complete that, and you get an extra tournament point if you complete it.
Yeah. So it's 5 tournament points for a win, 3 for a draw, I think, 1 for a loss, and then you get 1 if you achieve your secret mission. So there's 7 games, so you can get essentially a win and a bet if you complete all your secret missions across the event.
So that's how Matt's running it for Eons. I remember going to the first Into the West in 2015, or was it 16? 16.
I think it's 16, because I think it was January 2016.
Yeah. So
February.
So yeah,
I went to a very wet one.
that's
Wales.
That's just Cardiff. So yeah, that's how Matt's events normally run. Obviously, the Into the West is normally held late January, early February.
Yeah, it's normally either the season opener or the one after.
Yeah.
The season opener.
So and it's always a really good event. It's an event I always try to get to. Unfortunately, I won't be there this year, which is obviously annoying. But it's definitely one I want to try to get to early next year. So
my favourite venues, I think.
Yeah, and the new Firestorm looks even better.
I was gonna say, yeah, it was already one of my favourites. I think
arguably has the best. I haven't been to Stirling, but I know it's meant to be good. But it's probably the best venue for wargaming I've been to.
Yeah, I would have to.
And it's also the location. Like even the new ones, like about 10 minutes further walk away. It's still only 15-minute walk from the station.
I was gonna say the fact that it's
or 5 if you want to get into Vale, Cardiff instead.
Wales is also, Cardiff's relatively cheap, I found as well.
Yeah,
like for staying.
It wasn't this weekend, I think, because it's the first weekend of the summer holidays.
That's fair, yeah.
But I mean, if you booked early, it still was. But
yeah,
and there's also like Travel Lodge plus like a few other places right next to the station as well.
Yeah.
So once again for convenience.
Yeah.
And now I'll let Dewi talk.
So in third place was our own Alistair King, running Phaedrad's Guard. You took Phaedrid and Elfhelm, didn't you?
Yeah, Phaedrid, Elfhelm, 9 Royal Guard on foot, 10 warriors on foot with. Oh, the Royal Guard on foot had throwing spears, warriors had shields and throwing spears, 1 random guard with a banner, and 3 mounted Royal Guard with throwing spears. So 25 models, 5 mounted models, including Elfhelm and Phaedrid, and then a banner and a bunch of guys on foot.
Nice.
So a lot of throwing spears.
It is a lot of throwing spears. So and then Callum Edens came second with Serpent Horde and Farhad. So we had Suladan and Mahud King, some Mahud warriors with blowpipes, and then a mix of stuff.
Like
fatties, watchers.
Yeah, so we had 2 watchers with twin blades, like 5 fatties, and 6 warriors with bow, and 1 Howard Raider.
Yeah.
With a bow, I think.
And
had about 30 models.
Yeah, and then Neil McLaughlin, who I've not heard the name before. One with Helm's Guard.
I think he's come with a few of the Chester ones.
Okay,
I definitely seen the name pop up, and I recognised him on the day.
Nice.
But I don't think I've ever played him.
So, me and Ali were talking about this, and the funny thing to note is that Ali, Callum Edens, and Dave Farmer, 3 top players, all lost their first game.
Yeah. Is Lee still in the chat? I saw he was there earlier.
I don't know.
So what was even better is Lee. Is it Lee Robbins? I can't remember his surname.
Yes, Lee Robbins.
So he went on the Guardian's Discord and he was like, "What do people think of this Army of 4 list? I'm planning on taking it, Lair of the Dragon for 50 points." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, no, it's pretty much what I'd taken 2 years ago." And then I was just like, "Oh, I did it like this for the Warband Forum." She's like, "Cool." So he took exactly the same list as what I took 2 years ago.
And then beat Ali game 1.
Yeah, I played him game 1 and he beat me. But first event, I don't take dwarfs in the new edition, and like I've played in game 1 and lose.
Yeah,
it was contest of champions.
Yeah. So Farmer played Helmhammer.
Neil. So Farmer played Neil actually.
Oh, did he actually play Neil? Because there was a couple of Helmhammers, wasn't there?
Lee's still here.
Lee's still here, yeah.
Congratulations,
also,
Lee. Well done.
So hello to Michael.
Yes.
Shouting out in the chat.
Yeah.
Long time no see. Haven't been up that way in a long time.
But yeah, no, it sounded like a very interesting
So-
game 1, and then game 2, Callum played Ali.
Yeah, for the second tournament in a row. Like round 2 seems to be Edens versus King.
Which is
This time-
hilarious.
I won, and as you can see, Callum actually finished above me. Whereas last time at Bristol, he beat me, and I finished above him. So
that's-
clearly,
you
it's a
gotta
good
lose.
indicator if we lose to each other.
Lee's just calling you out in the chat.
Yeah. I'll play you with my horse, Lee, anytime.
So
So-
did Edens lose the first 2 games and still come
Yeah.
second?
Yes.
Yeah, so end of day 1, I had lost 2 games, Edens had lost 2 games, and David had lost 2 games. David lost twice to Lee as well, actually, with the dwarfs. Bearing in mind, David has spent most of his life only playing my dwarfs unless he's going to an event. So that was mildly, I'd say amusing. It was probably frustrating for David.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Mr.
Ooh,
Mr. Whitefoot's saying he played 5 Rohan players and beat both helm lists. I heard
Hmm.
I heard you were quite high after day 1, and then decided to
oh,
go
dude,
back to your normal
absolutely
position.
choked it.
Go back to your normal position, Scott.
He took the Club Lee approach.
Yeah.
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 But no, it's there going like it's table 2, I think. It's like 1-3, drawn 1, like in 3rd place.
Is
Looking
this
good.
Scott?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I think he went and lost all of his games. I may be wrong, but I think he lost all his games on
Oh
day
dear.
2.
Very amusing. Like just. But how did you find the event?
Oh yeah,
Good
it's
to you
really
went.
good. So it was in Wiltshire. We still had to wear masks indoors.
Yeah.
But because it's my second event doing it, I actually didn't really notice it or get bothered by it
Mhm.
at all. So
There's Jack having
Yeah.
a go at his brother. I like that.
everyone's just
I
getting
like
wrecked
that.
in the chat now.
I like that.
Yeah, but
But
yeah,
no,
no, it's a good event. It ran like clockwork, to be honest. No issues. Solid. It is quite interesting actually because it was. I think a lot of people they were taking a list for what would have been into the West,
yeah.
and then you had people like me who I was taking Fidget's Guard going. I haven't used a certain event before. I'm not. I think it may be good, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So for me personally, it's quite interesting to see how I did. Generally, it took me until I think day 2 until I was properly comfortable with the list.
I was going to say, should we have a quick chat about this because it's quite an interesting topic, I think, and I'm interested to have Gethin and CJ and whether you've done it at an event as well.
Done what? Sorry.
Taking a
Seems like what?
taking a list that you've not necessarily practiced to an event, and day 1 being like kind of you're still figuring it out, or do you practice with a list?
I
Not
don't have
religiously,
anyone to
but-
practice with, so yeah, that's every tournament for me, pretty
Yeah.
much.
So in a way, yes, because with the Chester group, I think I said this might be in last week. It's basically me, Josh, and Carmen are the ones who kind of go more competitive.
Yeah.
But for a lot of the point, Josh has been off to uni. When tournaments are running and stuff, Josh was off
Yeah.
at uni in Sheffield, so we didn't get to play much with him. And then I would play Carmen, but it was just against Iron Hills.
Yeah.
And I ran Isengard at Helmingers, so I don't care about Iron Hills because I'm strength 4.
Yeah.
So, they are practice games, but not the most varied ones. So a lot of the lists I ran, like even my Ardacon list that I'd never ran that before, which was the Reavers, Half Trolls, Berserkers, that Helmingers Thranduil list I originally, like when I first came up with that idea, I'd never practiced that.
Did you find it took you a little while to get kind of how it all played out, and like kind of the order of things in?
Some of the lists, yeah. The Ardacon one, no, because it was a disgusting list.
What a disgusting person.
Just two attack Berserkers, 2 attack Half Trolls, Reavers with axes. Just there's not much thought really, except for what am I
I'm
going to
going
cast
that
Saruman at?
way.
Yeah. And then
What was your
I think
what was your hero
what
to
was
lead your half trolls in that list, by the way?
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster. Yeah, I was going to say that seems like the logical choice.
Do you remember when taskmasters were bothering with?
Yeah.
It was odd, Con. I wasn't allowed to use pickaxes on my militia because they weren't axes.
Interesting.
But yeah, the Hellmongers one definitely took a while to get used to. Like I knew that that was one of those lists where I just came up with an idea and I was like, this is actually really good. And then I knew what I needed to do. It was just working out how to get the opponent to fight me in that condition.
For those that don't know, this is obviously the old edition, and it was Grimbold, Gandalf, and Thranduil.
Grimbold, potentially Eowyn, and then as many, like a bunch of Hellmongers, and then it was Stormcaller and Old Thranduil from Lothlorien. So the Stormcaller and Thranduil had Nature's Wrath. So the idea was I'd knock my opponents over, charge in with the Hellmongers, Piercing Strike, so I'm either Strength 5 to 7, and then have a Spear Support from an Elf, so I'm 5/5 as well. And it was basically...
It's a very well thought out list.
It was really
very well thought out.
But it was basically if in a straight Shield Wall, I couldn't lose. I couldn't lose Shield Wall games. It was non-Shield Wall games, which is where I lost, which is why I struggled so much at ETC with it. Because obviously the players have more varied lifts and stuff. And I'm a terrible player as well. But yeah, it just took a while to work out how to get people to play how I wanted them to.
Yeah.
And then once again, against those better players, they just wouldn't. So I think I lost like 4 times, including ETC to Jay with that list, just because it was just like, I'm not fighting you. Like, I'm not going to let you have the battlefield type thing.
What's this? Jack Whitefoot's actually asked a question in the chat, which is
there's a question. What? I mean, that's a good topic to talk about later on. Or even
speaking of Strength 4, not caring about D6, thoughts on the new defense-orientated rules for Dale City Guard versus having Strength 4. I feel like we should wait until the actual rules come out, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think by the time...
Tune in 2 weeks' time.
I was going to say, I think in
2 weeks?
in 2 weeks... Yeah, because they go on pre-order a week on Friday. So with the pre-order will be the rules.
Usually.
Are they still... Could they still be changed by the book?
Yes.
Yeah.
However,
it rarely happens massively.
Yeah. I was going to say, to be fair,
there's a
good chance that the book's already been pushed off. But
it'll be getting printed.
Yeah, it'll be in print or at least have the tick from Warner, so they won't change anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we can definitely answer that in 2 weeks. So yeah,
just as a provisional, I actually thought, okay, so Dale with the shoot value bonus and with their Esgaroth bows, and if they're still allowed to have a wind lance without Girion, then you're enticing people to come at you, and then you've got a spear wall which penalizes you for running into them.
That's an interesting
The synergy's quite good.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just going to be an addition to the Dale list?
I can't see it not. I think it's going. You either go Girion, and that's your hero, or you go.
They're going to modify it. Yeah.
So
LSR, so you can't
I think it'll be like Helm and Ale's rules.
Yeah.
Where
although Ale's interesting, isn't he?
Oh yeah. So
isn't it really weird?
The catch with Ale is you just lose your army bonus. You don't. The alliance doesn't change.
Yeah, so you can take Ale with Fëanor and Theoden and like all the other named heroes.
And you just lose your army bonus.
Yeah. Although you can't ally in named characters, and you can only ally Gundor with them at that point.
Yeah. So
I assumed that they wouldn't go to Balin's Expedition because like Balin's Expedition is just impossible with everyone. Whereas this
Balin's Expedition is essentially a Legendary Legion without any of the Legendary Legion bonuses. That's pretty much what it is.
No. Your Legendary Legion bonus is that you can take Gimli or
the bonus is you can take Gimli because they needed Gimli to be able to lead dwarves in some army. That's pretty much why he's there, because he shouldn't be law-wise.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I definitely think it's they're going to be cool models, and I think it'll be a good addition, and I honestly can't wait for the book. And I think when the book does come out, I think we'll have a stream just going through the book.
But What's Michael Bradford going to be posting on the Warhammer TV comments then?
Probably banging on about Last Alliance or some shit like that.
When's the next source book? That's just keep going.
Because wasn't it last week he was on about when we're getting a new release, and this week he was when are we getting the source book specifically because they announced a new release.
It's always about the source book, and he just happened to use your face in it.
Yeah. Like, that's not even my current profile picture.
What?
Like, he posted a picture of me on reply to a Warhammer TV comment or something like that.
Yeah.
What was it exactly? It was just like, I just saw it. It didn't even tag me. It just came up, like, and I think CJ put it on the Discord. Like,
Is he
I
just
had seen
trolling?
it just. Oh yeah, it's because
Okay.
he just. I don't know, what is it?
I was going to
Yeah,
assume
the theme was, show us your men of the West, and they're like, here is a man from the West. He is just a man, but
And I didn't have the heart to tell him as well. I'm not from the West. Like, I'm probably slightly more east than I am west.
I mean, it
Being
depends
in Winchester.
where he's from. If he's from America, then
No, he's from Ireland.
No, he's Irish.
I mean,
That's
why-
more West than
West
us.
then there.
Yeah,
He's
but
more
I
West than
think he like many people assumes that I am actually Welsh, despite never having lived in Wales or
I
like
do
have
love
Welsh
that.
relatives.
Like, people just always assume that because what was it?
It's because I started running the events in Cardiff for my brother when I lived in Bristol for uni,
Mhm.
and then to make up, like I ended up organising Team Wales for the first ETC.
For those
And
those
then-
who haven't seen the picture, it is now on screen for you all.
Mm.
It is glorious.
Wasn't it like Dewi was the only Welsh person in the
no,
main team
Luke as well.
and first team?
Yeah.
Oh wait, were you and Luke the only people who were Welsh in both teams?
No, we had Dave as well. Well,
Is
Dave's
Dave-
Welsh, isn't he? Or was he in Welsh?
Who?
Ian
Clarky.
Clark.
Clark.
Is the most Bristolian man I've ever met.
I was gonna say, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
but
Dave was Bristol.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because I'm only half.
Yeah, no, that's how
Welsh.
come you qualified.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
is that-
you're the most Welsh
yeah.
person here.
I was gonna go with the
technically
year before, but it's just me.
Technically by blood, my mother is English. So yeah.
I like how we have actually just posted the picture up. Like,
Yeah. Cool. We will continue on. So yeah, when the source book comes out, I think we'll definitely do a stream on it. Because I think it'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
To see
I'll need to get my
what
hands
they,
on it.
Yeah, what
and I'll probably do a blog article saying I don't like these dwarves or I like these dwarves.
So
get
yeah.
Adam Tony saying all of these new sculpts are only 4 heads high. This is ridiculous.
Oh, I want to see, like, I'm now generally just interested to know how many heads high each model is. Just 'cause this feels like it's a good scale for me now to just know like how many heads you get.
Apparently, Scott and Jack are 2/5 Welsh.
Yeah, that's plenty.
Well, what was it? To be fair, for the era where it was in Poland, the 2 Welsh representatives were Dale and Josh.
Yeah,
They're not Welsh at all.
but they live
live in-
near there. They live in Cheshire, so
Wait, Josh
which
lives
is pretty
in
much
yeah.
like 20
Josh is in
minutes from
Chester.
Wales.
To be fair,
if that.
Dale did live in Wales for his childhood.
That explains a lot.
He hates it when you bring
Okay.
that up, by the way.
Uh,
If you bring, like, whenever I'd mentioned that he's more Welsh than me, he would get very angry.
Well, he's played for Team Wales now, or Team Scales is what they called it. That, yeah.
Yes, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
St. Mary's.
Hamish, that is one of the best bits about Cardiff. So you're saying the first time in Cardiff at the weekend and St Mary's Street on a Saturday night was a great time as a single bloke.
This
So-
is something I will never understand about you top GBHL players. You go to a 2-day event, you get absolutely leathered on the Saturday night, and then you turn up the next day and still win the bloody thing.
Wasn't
So,
it
I
Harry
feel
Moore
like
gets a
that-
buff from being drunk?
Yeah, no, so-
Harry have played game 1 of day 2 at Cheshire, and to be fair, it was heirlooms. He picked up the first one and hid it in a wood with his
God.
banner. And I had terrible dice, but yeah, we were both. Well, I was all right. He was just awful.
He's always out of it.
So I have a theory for this, CJ. It's basically because when you're really, really, really struggling to do anything, you're aware you're probably going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So you double
Right.
check every move that you're going to do. So you actually play more careful. Whereas when you're sober, you're more cavalier because you're like,
Yeah.
you just feel like a normal human being. And also the smell of alcohol can off-put your opponent.
There was somebody turned up to the scaring of the Shire and just had 2 massive bottles of whiskey. It was like every time one of my guys gets killed, I could take a shot.
Remember, I
Jamie
think it
Gibbon
was
and
that was
James
2017
Bond.
Sterling. 2017
no.
Sterling was Harry's birthday.
Oh, really?
Actually, so the last
turn up for the first
GVHL
game.
tournament I won was basically my birthday weekend. Like Will was just like, right, we're getting you hammered, and I turned up and won the next day. So
Harry is
Hey,
the best
there's
way
Harry.
to play. It's the best way to play. So I'm getting married in March, and all being well,
yeah,
Into the West is obviously before that. So I'm going to try and, or I am going to say to people, get a ticket, and it will be kind of like my hobby friends' big, let's just go, kind of like a hobby stag do.
I was talking about Cardiff is like one of those the weirdest places just to be at around about 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
Because you still get like families who are there for like the day out. You
Yep.
get people who are going for like just their evening meal, and then you get all of the stag and hen do's and sort of like uni stuff just walking out. So I was just in Pizza Express having a meal Saturday evening, and then there's a whole load of people dressed up as explorers, and then a T-Rex walking down the street past a window.
And also about 7 o'clock, you've got people in like every stage of drunk.
Yeah.
Because you've got the people who've been out maybe at the football or the rugby, and they are well cut. You've got the people who've like, oh, well, we'll meet up at 5 and we'll get started, who are like half cut. And you've got the people who are like raring to go, and it's so funny.
Wasn't the ETC that was hosting Wales? Wasn't it like a Welsh Ireland game or something?
So I think it was Wales Ireland that weekend.
Yeah,
but the funny thing about the ETC that weekend,
that's great.
There was 9 of us out, I think it was, and by out I mean like 3-4 a.m. out.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty early.
Yeah,
quite one.
So from Wales team 1 there was me and Ali. From Wales team 2 there was Luke. From Scotland team 2 there was James Gilray. From England there was Barney, Harry, being England's captain, saying, I'm not going out, I'm not going out, I'm not going out. Harry came out. Jay and Entwistle, and there was one other.
Was it Giblin?
No, it might be Edens.
Yeah, he played for team 2.
Yeah.
Edens is always on a night out in Cardiff, so I'm not surprised if he was there, even if he wasn't at the ETC.
Yeah. So yeah, and it was just one of the funniest nights out. And then also Cardiff again, Into the West one year. We got, I think it was about 18 of the 52 players, so like a third of the players into the club in the evening, which was just amazing. It was so funny. That was the day Huckville got in at 7 a.m, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, well I slept in his bed because
Yeah.
he didn't like turn up, and then like he came in at like 7:30 in the morning, and I was like, "Do you want your bed back?" And he was like, "No," and then he just collapsed on the floor and fell asleep there.
Yeah, given that it's going to be in March, you be careful. It's not like the Six Nations finale weekend or something.
Yeah. Well, usually it ends up. It became an accidental date was the last weekend in January because it coincided with on the Sunday evening like WrestleMania or something, which half of the GBHL, I'm not into wrestling, but like the Nottinghams, like
the Scots,
a lot of the Notts guys are, so they make it an even longer weekend out of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Scott reminding everyone that Callum Edens when drunk is an absolute liability. He just
Callum kept hitting people.
Yeah.
Oh god.
He likes to do the
I'm gonna wear a cricket box next time we go out with him.
He likes to do the cheeky childish, just little slap on the balls, except the drunker he gets.
Because he's the old one, isn't
the harder
it? Like,
it gets.
He's the most immature.
Yeah. And Ali took the brunt of it that night. It was just, very, very funny. Very funny. Very funny. Right. Shall we quickly move on to a little bit of a list? Because Lee did mention doing a dwarf Dale alliance, and I have a list from him, and we will have a look at what we think about it.
Are we taking a quick break?
We can
First
take
or-
a 2-minute break
I was going to say, otherwise,
we'll be on
doesn't
for
make sense to
another.
have another point.
Yeah, we'll be on for another hour or so. So we'll take a quick 2-minute break, and then we'll be back. And we're back, and we're running through Lee's list. So,
Like that alliteration.
Lee's list. Oh, I've
Lee's
also
list.
spelled his name wrong. 2 B's.
Oh, how
Excellent.
did you manage that?
I think spelled
Same
Lee
with
wrong.
3 letters.
Yeah.
Even in the chat.
Yeah, no, it's only because it's in the chat that I realised I spelled it wrong. Apologies, Lee.
Oh.
So, this is a list that he would like us to look through. He posted it in the Discord earlier, and there was a bit of chat around it. I wasn't really paying attention at that point, so I'm not sure what the chat was saying.
What's his name in the Discord? Just looking up the list. Up.
Lee.
It's just Lee.
Lee Robbins.
Ewokey.
Oh, in the Discord, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So his list is Thrain, 10 warriors available with shield, 1 warrior available with banner and a shield, Girion with the great bow, 5 warriors of Dale with Escroth bow and spear, and 8 warriors of Dale with spear and shield. So this is 450 points. Alistair, you're a dwarf man.
Oh, you're making me go first. I want to hear what everyone else says first.
That just sounded
the list.
like a really strange insult to just level at him. You're a small person. You talk. No, I think Ali made a point that I completely agreed with. I played against Callum Royal's nicely painted Thror and Dale combine, and yeah, you just go after the Dale because they're defense 5. You take them off the table. They're a nice combination only in the sense of their bows will bring you to them, which Thror's army otherwise kind of lacks without the throwing weapons. But they're only so it's a third of a half
Yeah.
for bows. It's not
The
that
thing is, you
helpful.
don't get enough bows to
Yeah.
justify it. And a warrior of Dale with shield and spear is what, 9 points?
Good question.
I think it's 9 points.
Gaffin.
Why is the Hobbit one at the bottom?
It may even be 10 points.
Is it in the a Dale in the
I
appendix?
mean, I could look.
Still
My
or
book
no?
is there.
No,
but I
in the
feel
others
like
are-
Gaffin needs to.
7 base, 1 point for shield and spear each.
Yeah.
9.
So that's 1 point less than a warrior, a dwarf warrior with spears and shield. You're
Yeah.
still only going to be
Oh,
moving 5 most of the time because you got the dwarf in the front rank,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then you're 1 lower courage, you're 2 lower defense, and it's kind of like for 1 point more, you may as well just take a dwarf warrior at that point.
Yeah. I think theme wise, top marks.
Yeah.
Top marks.
Yeah.
I really like it, but yeah.
It's not going to be the worst list, but the thing is, you basically have the dwarf list main strength is you don't die, and the Dale list main strength is you can completely outshoot and get quite a lot of numbers. And when you combine them together, you don't really get the best of both worlds. You kind of end up getting the worst of both. Also, you don't have heroic march, which
So
isn't as desperate because you've got some bows. But
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
I was,
I was gonna say
So-
Girian's just a very okay hero.
He's very
Gideon's solid actually.
He's mid-level, isn't he?
So if you really wanted to take Gideon, what I would suggest in this army is you take 2 dwarf captains or 4 and a full warband of dwarfs, and then you just have Gideon with like 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, would you ever consider just having Girion on his own? Because he actually brings strike and accuracy and potentially a wind lance. He's 80 points with the bow, and then he's got bard level annoying strength 4 shooting.
So yeah, I would generally consider going a double captain Girion, because then you get quite a lot of might as well. You've got 3 heroes, which is quite useful just for pivoting around the board.
So is that 2 dwarf captains with
2 dwarf captains
with warriors?
With warriors is the same points as Thrain.
Okay.
And then you can convert the Dale guys into dwarf warriors with spears and shield.
Yeah.
Maybe still leave 1 extra with a bow in there, so you just got an extra shot.
Yeah.
And then like you're pretty much that. If you wanted to take Girion, obviously it's not much of a Dale army of 4 ally. It's
Yeah. I was thinking it's kind of like sticking Legolas in Return of the King. It just gives you
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the strength 4 bow with 3 might is quite good. And when you've got the 2 captains, because you've still got quite a lot of might in your actual line, you can afford to use it.
Triple shot from him as well, right?
Yeah.
Potentially triple shot.
No, I think it's an interesting list. And how many models is it? It's quite a lot.
It's like 25.
11,
26 there.
26, yeah.
So like that's a good size force at 450 points.
Yeah.
I definitely think
it's the biggest issue is what CJ was saying before about if you do have like that's over half your army is Dale.
Yeah, and it's
I'm just
really
going for that.
squishy.
It's like whenever I play against I haven't played, well, not this edition, but last edition, I'd run into a Khazad Dome list. If they've got Iron Guard, I just go straight for them.
Yeah.
Because once again, I ran strength 4, so they were just easy killing. And then I'm outnumbering you even more.
Yeah. So Lee's on about he was struggling to get oomph from his list sometimes in the games that he lost at the weekend. And that's why he's put Thrain in. The thing I would say is you've lost a lot of oomph from lacking having the strength 4 Grimhammers now.
So,
I was about to ask you, what would your priorities be for the dwarf heroes? Because there's a lot of them in Army of Thrall. Because Thrall and Thrain are the same points.
Yeah.
So
I really like the 6-inch banner, and he basically Thrall's not so Thrall, Thrain, and Thorin. Thrall is probably actually in some ways the worst out of the three. However, the 6-inch banner and the ability to get strength 4 Grimhammers then makes him probably the first name on the sheet. He's also just a general who shouldn't die. Doesn't mean he never will.
You managed to get him killed enough.
Yeah, but and like his Grimhammers are just great in my opinion. And then you go a captain is the second, but the problem is at 450 points that is your then hero's choice, and you do lack that hitty power hero. So you could go. I've considered alternatives where you go like young Dwalin and 2 captains, and then a bunch of dwarfs, because then you've got
that's interesting.
Like 3 heroes. Young Dwalin's really good at just chopping stuff up, but or young Thorn actually can be handy to give you some extra hitting power. Just it may be for the one turn, because he gets the +1 strength. So if you've got all your heroes near him, they all go up to strength 5 for that turn, and then that turn you really just hit hard.
You just go to town
and like commit.
So Lee's whole reasoning behind putting the army of the Garrison of Dale was to get a little bit of something else to try and make up the dwarf lacking things. And I know there was a bit of chat in the Discord saying what could you add to Army of Thrall that could give it that little bit of oomph. And one of the things that was touted was an Iron Hills captain.
Yeah, because then you get some goats in.
Well, you could get some goats, or you just then you have your strength 4, and maybe a couple of crossbows. So
I was just saying, so what's he trying to compensate for? Is it the lack of shooting, the lack of mobility?
I think the low points.
The list that I came up with at 450, which is a bit different, and it's an Iron Hills Army of Thrall variety, is you've got basically a dwarf captain with something like 10 dwarf warriors with spears and shields, roughly. And then you go Murin and Jar, and Iron Hills warriors, because then you get lots. You got 8 might, which is a lot. You've got a march. Jar provides you with the expert shot with 3 might and the strength 3 bow to help you with a little bit of range, and you can, if you want, drop a couple of captains. So a couple of captains, couple of crossbows, or a goat. I don't think I did in the variation I came up with, but it was 23 models, and you had a banner in there as well. So it was like an alright model count. Everyone's still D7. You've got strength 4 from the Iron Hills, and you've got 3 solid heroes.
Quite like that.
Because Murin's got a heroic strike and defense 8, and he gets the bonus versus orcs, urukai, and goblins. Dwarf captains are generally just solid, and even Jar's solid in combat.
Yeah,
those 2 are definitely overlooked a lot.
But would you be better just going plain Iron Hills at that point?
No.
Elaborate.
No, you're not. So Iron Hills is like awkward because you then, if you go Dane, because the Iron Hills warriors are so expensive, they may only be like 2 points more expensive than a dwarf warrior, but they are more expensive, and then Dane's a little bit more expensive, and the captains are significantly more expensive than a dwarf Erebor captain, and then your model count just starts plummeting at those points, and you struggle to get past 20 models, which
I was going to say,
really,
I think you get to about 20, 21.
The way you could do it is if you could go Dane with Erebor captain, because if you wanted to do it that way around, I think the alliance is the best way to go for Iron Hills at that point, because you just need the model boost.
Yeah. Would you ever consider taking Grimhammers instead of Warriors of Erebor just for a bit of range there, backed up by Iron Hills?
Yeah. So I think when I've done the list, sometimes like doing the ally, like you end up with like 5 Grim Hammers and sort of 5 Dwarf Warriors with Spiritual Shield. It's usually one of those things where it's, if I've got to spare 5 points to pay for the upgrade to a Grim Hammer, I possibly will. If not, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But you do miss the throwing weapons though when you don't have them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is it just a bit of a ranged threat? Just getting that extra
Yeah.
boost.
I actually still think the Thor Captain version is possibly the strongest version. Just
For Iron
because
Hills
of,
Captain.
no, just Thor and Erebor Captains.
Okay.
All dwarf lists struggle at 450 points because you don't have the numbers to make up for the lack of speed and positioning.
Could you, just off the cuff, have Thrall with an Iron Hills Captain on Goat and maybe 1 or 2 Goat Riders, and that's the only Iron Hills contingent? So you're still at that.
You still lose so many models.
Well,
Iron Hills Captain on Goat ends up being nearly 100 points.
So 220 in there. You should put
90.
2 Goat Riders in there.
2 Goat Riders is 40 points.
So you're looking
So
at.
that's 130 points for the contingent.
And then once you chuck in like 4, that's 250, and then you've got 200 points, which you can only get. So 18 is maximum you can get from his Warband. So you could, but you're starting to go, and and the problem with Thor actually when you do ally with Iron Hills is you don't get the reroll on the Iron Hills because his effect only. So
it would just for giving you that little extra.
I don't like it when I start getting to 20 models in 450. It's just asking for trouble, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It probably can work, but you'll have that one turn when the opponent rolls a couple of 6s to wound.
Yeah.
Randomly, and then suddenly you notice it a lot more.
And then the characters will start using might to kill, and then you're just down to like 10 models.
Whereas when you've got 26 models, all D7, with all fight for with 6-inch banner reroll affecting all of them, and you got the 12, because you wouldn't be able to go Guardians of the King, I think, or not as much as you would do if you were.
Lee, by the sounds of it, you're pretty decent as it is. Like, it's just practice for a first tournament. It sounds like
I was gonna say you won 5 and lost 2.
Very good weekend.
It's not.
Better than I did.
I think generally it's just getting used to with the dwarfs at 450, or just dwarfs generally. It's more learning about how to position them than actually the list itself.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be relying on their heroes to do the killing. If you are, you've probably misplayed somewhere, or you're putting your faith in the wrong part of the army.
Yeah, playing Iron Hills, but
and even then, like the Iron Hills specifically, you've got Dane who he kills loads.
Thorin.
Oh, yeah, but now you're in Erebor Reclaimed.
Oh, all right. I complement the same thing. Okay, Erebor Reclaimed.
But Erebor Reclaimed. The reason why I'm specifically talking about Iron Hills is because you can ally them, whereas Erebor Reclaimed you can't ally with Army of Thor. Erebor Reclaimed's a bit different because they can get enough cheapish heroes that can get mounted as well.
That are nice as well.
Yeah.
Thorin and Parlin just.
Erebor Reclaimed actually works as a very different list in many ways.
Yeah.
You can build it the same, but most of the time you see people.
It's very different compared to the other dwarf lists. All the other dwarf lists, in a way, you might disagree with me, but seem to have a similar playstyle of the dwarf lists. And then Erebor Reclaim's just completely different because the goats and stuff.
Yeah, and it's also just a bit broken. The other dwarf lists aren't.
How come Erebor Reclaimed is broken?
Thorin.
Well, it's essentially the hero selection is ridiculous. It's like you've got 13
heroes who can lead troops for a start.
Yeah, and you still get pretty much all the benefits that Iron Hills do when you take Dane, because he still gives them Fearless, which I really think should be an army bonus for Iron Hills, specifically, rather than him just being a passive rule. But yeah, you get Thorin who gets 3 heroic combats all the time. You can take, is it Biffa, the one which once he takes wound you can get 3 heroic moves all the time.
Yeah.
The Alliance Matrix, you can just boost up your numbers with Lake Town, like as much as you want. If you want to take elves, you can. All your heroes can pretty much get mounted, and they're all fairly well costed. It's the significant ones.
Even the ones on foot for the dwarves of defense 8.
Actually, that's a good point. Gloin for 90 points. You compare him to Gimli, who's 100 points. Gloin gets, I think it's 90, but Gloin gets two-handed weapon, +1 to wound, 3 attacks. Gimli gets, just compare Gloin. So Gloin gets basically pretty much an identical stat line to Gimli, but 1 less will and fate. But then he gets to reroll 1s to wound. He gets +1 to wound with the 3 attacks, and then like he gets, if Thorin's on the board, he gets to reroll a dice and all that stuff. And he's 10 points cheaper, and it's just like,
I've heard people moan that the army bonus is kind of a load of nothing because all the Iron Hills don't get the Erebor.
Yeah, which I think is the one saving grace of that.
I was going to say that's fine with me.
But then on another flip side, it encourages people to do like dodgy alliances with it more. So
it should be a thing of like the list shouldn't be as strong, and the army bonus should make up for that.
Yeah,
it would take a lot. I feel because of the 13 dwarves, that'd be hard to do.
You think if you took away the Thorin's company's ability to lead troops?
I was just going to say, if you said only Thorin, like
only Thorin,
maybe the others if you just said they were minor heroes, like actually, so you don't completely take away their ability to lead.
But, I was going to say because Thorin's the only one who would actually lead, right?
Yeah, well, he's the only one who did.
Or if you just put them all as independents, then you can run the Champion's Variable as the Champion's Variable.
Oh, there's one warband.
Maybe even Feely.
Well, that makes sense because that's how they ran out the gate.
Because currently you don't do that.
That's true.
Making them into maybe Thorin, Feely, Keely, and Dwalin should be able to lead troops.
I was thinking Feely, Keely just because they're princes.
And also, Feely and Keely are actually really well balanced profiles, I think, in that list. But you don't take them because all the others are just so much better. As long as there's so many heroes that 3 or 4 that you would take in your army are going to be better than your average hero.
Anybody know who this Atomic Cards is in the?
That's Lee.
So it won't. Would it be Lee or would that be Tom? Because considering we've got Lee in the chat as well, I don't think Lee's going to be talking to himself. Who's been teaching Lee and finished below him at the tournament on the weekend, I believe. But
I do like Murin and Drara as well, to back his point. And actually, I thought the irritating thing is that Murin's shield is just nothing to do with how Iron Hills are anymore. So Louis, get working on that.
He's got some. There's some.
That one got done ages
There's
ago.
some already designed.
Got a Murin Iron Hill shield.
Oh,
or
did he do it the other way around?
There's Iron Hill's shield. There's
with the raven on.
The shields with a raven and an Arkenstone on it. I think.
Ah, cool. Ignore me.
Essentially, on the Discord, there are somewhere. They are somewhere.
I lose track. That guy's a machine. He's just pumping out 4 designs a day. He's like, do you like these? Yes, they're all amazing.
Yes.
There's no way Dewey's keeping up with this.
No, there's not. I've got to the point where if someone orders it, then I will model it.
Yeah.
So let's crack on to another time top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5 dwarf list at 450 points.
Bye, Lee.
See you later,
Lee.
And we'll jump in with another one of these, and then I think that'll be us calling it a night. So, here we go. It is spinning. It takes forever. I hope that's not too loud for everyone.
Oh, we can't hear it.
I can hear it coming from Dewi's.
I was going to say, we can hear the end of it.
Either that or the fairgrounds just arrived outside Dewi's house.
So, the top 5 flying profiles.
Ooh.
This will be another short list.
There are more in the game than there used to be.
And we start. Yeah. So, if you're in the chat, ping your top 5 flying profiles. Oh, God, what is there? Oh, jeez. There's quite a few, isn't there?
There's one that I want around this list, but I can't. It's because he's not good. I mean, he's not terrible, but I feel like
Honourable mention.
the other things are just better.
Oh,
just
does a
listen
guy
to
on a
stuff.
flying thing count?
Yeah.
It's a flying thing.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do we classify as best? Like best for
Normally not
games?
worst.
Yeah.
But like
Whatever you
Fighter
think.
fishing?
Whatever you think is best. You're 4 minutes
in a
remaining.
1v1, because if in a 1v1, there's an obvious winner.
4 minutes remaining.
I don't know what the order is actually.
I'm trying
I've
to think
kinda
of what
got my
other.
5.
I'm trying to think of what other. Oh.
Well, assuming we're not doing individual rates, I've got up to 8 profiles. Oh wait, there's another one.
7.
It's not a competition, just see how many profiles can you come up with which fly.
That's what you think. Because if we rate all of them down, we don't forget things like Candace Chariots.
Candace Chariot can't fly, can it? Just to clarify before Josh
I
gets
don't think
angry
so.
at me.
Not yet.
Josh is going to get really annoyed at some point.
If you sorcerer's blast something, then anything can fly.
I was thinking that if you hurl something, it is still going
Yeah.
through the air.
I remember, I don't know if it was actually allowed, but ages ago before I started doing GBHL stuff, as I was doing a doubles game and I was with someone who had a storm cooler, and basically we used it as a delivery mechanism for Gimli to get him across the board quicker. So we just cool winds him to blow him. So I'd move 5, cool winds, blow him 2d6 like that way.
We did similar with
That's excellent.
Old Dane, Sorcerer's Blast, Old Dane. No, yeah, Sorcerer's Blast, Old Dane through the enemy's spear line, and they just charged the support hero.
So you were allowed to target your own models.
I can't. This
Back
was
in the
before I
Blue
did
Book.
tournaments.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure in
it
the
would have
Blue
been
Book
back
you
then when
could,
I did
yeah.
it. So it was a thing that people
Because we were
probably
also
didn't
yeah.
just
consider us to be idiots.
just under 2.5
We
minutes.
thought about doing it with Treebeard as well. Because like defense 8 isn't going to care about a strength 5 hit.
Yeah.
Would a goblin throw in a
epic.
goblin count, or is it falling with no style? Says Michael. Yeah, I think that's no style right
2
there.
minutes left.
Just trying to work out
Hello.
an order. I don't want to. I feel like that's going to be there.
It is such a powerful rule, the Goblin King throwing, but
it's
because you
insane.
only hit on a 6, you just can't pull the bloody thing off when you need it to. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've got everyone right.
You just repeated your best race. I don't know if these are as good anymore. They were really good in the last edition. I don't actually know.
Would you
if
just
they
put?
put that.
Right.
If
I
you put
think
like
I've
a
got
horned
my
fell
files.
beast, because that doesn't exist anymore.
No. I never classed them as good.
Have you ever seen an armored fell beast?
No, I did see a horned in the last edition though, to give you the strength 7, so you could
For
knock
the
down
other
the
fell
other fell
beasts,
beast that
yeah.
your opponent had.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's quite a good idea.
But then they got rid of it. So
Yeah. It's so that eagles can knock fell beasts over.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it from my guess.
Mm-hmm.
What else is flying?
Unfortunately, there's a fair amount of overlap with the previous section as well.
Kinda.
So a lot of these are mounts.
Really?
I've got.
Lots on this list are.
I've got 2.
How many flying mounts are there other than fell beast and
We've
Great
got 20
Eagle?
seconds left. An armored fell beast.
That's it, isn't it? Unless CJ's gone like Shadow Lord on Fell Beast, Kamul on Fell Beast.
Dude,
Nah.
10 seconds.
I don't know if that's a nah that saying yes or. Yeah.
I mean, if you included like monstrous charge, you'd
There
get
we
up
are.
into loads.
It is time up.
I can tell you exactly how long my delay is. It's 28 seconds.
28 seconds.
Oh, mine's 20.
So we are back
So I
with
win.
top 5 flying profile.
I only won some.
Your choke on round 2.
Oh, these need to be restart at 1.
Fight,
Okay.
fight.
I think I like mine. I don't know.
So, Gethin, take us off. Number 5.
So mine with 5. I don't actually know where this ranks on this list this edition.
I'm
but
guessing number 5.
I don't think it's number 5. It could be higher. Bat Swarms.
Nice. Yeah, they're still very good.
I was gonna say because I know they were really good last edition. I just don't know
They're
if they're as good.
arguably better this edition.
Because of the lack of strike, or
Yeah, and just generally, because the Goblin list doesn't have as much strike, and monsters are a bit better for them now.
See, in the old edition, it was anything in base contact with them, not necessarily in the fight. Whereas now it's whatever's in the fight.
That's
with
strong.
them.
Yeah. I wish I'd known that previously.
I'm pretty sure. But CJ, what's your 5th?
About for Legolas.
It's oh god, if there was a profile for Legolas on Warbat. Yeah.
Is it on Warbat or Warbat on Legolas?
No, it's Legolas under Warbat.
Under Warbat.
That's one we missed for the last round was the Stumpy. That's a mount.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a great mount, isn't it?
Anyway, Fellbeast is number 5.
Fellbeast.
Just it adds a huge amount of threat to a spellcaster.
Yeah, nice.
So Fellbeast was my honourable mention if I had one. I put Great Eagle at number 5.
Oh, really?
I feel like you really don't agree with me there, Gethin.
I've got mine
What
higher.
is this idiot thinking?
As the Eagle player, I'm surprised it's 5th.
So my 5th is the Krebine.
Bloody forgot Krebine there.
I don't even know what they do.
They're 4 wounds. You can only hit them on 6s with
6s,
shooting
that's right,
attacks. Like
So objectives, they're king.
They're amazing
Yeah.
objectives, and generally you can also do you can do it with the Bat Swarm as well, but you can fly behind people and then trap if you've got like 4 of them, like their entire line and stuff like that. So there's lots of options.
They're also like an instant heroic combat blocker.
Yeah.
Just like, you can't do 4 wounds in one turn.
Yeah,
And they're
you say I
20
can't.
points. They are 20 points for
Yeah.
what they bring. It's ridiculous.
Grimbold can do 4 wins.
Yeah, I was about to say, the last time I played
Yeah.
Kravine, I had Grimbold who just walked up and was just like, Dad, mighty blow on your birds.
So I will crack on with my number 4, and that is a Bat Swarm. Yeah, in Moria you see them all the time. I think they're really, really good. Really handy for dealing with big heroes. And you round. It's one of the only things you round down.
As far as I'm aware, it's the only existence of that rule. And it's not just Moria you get them in with, but the Spider Queen ubiquity in the Metro over the last couple of years has meant that lots of people get a Bat Swarm come along for the ride, and it just adds so much threat and utility.
Yeah.
Especially if you can get the 2 of those in on something together, particularly if you've got, say, a Wraith pulling something out of position, like somebody
That's
we know.
the Yakov Cromwell Matt Light speciality these days. Shadow Lord, Bat Swarm, Spider Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just pair Bat Swarm with anything that's fight 6 or higher, or can get to fight 6 or higher, and your opponent's stuffed. There is nothing they can do at that stage. And that, in that sense, I actually posted in the competitive a little while ago saying, this is kind of horrible for me to inflict on people. Do you think it could be you halve and then you can strike? Or something along those lines? And everybody just laughed me out the door. I thought, well, okay, I'll keep my OP unit then.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, it's one of those things which is you have to know how to do it to do it.
Yeah.
And
it's really hard to engineer those positions.
Yeah. So is there going? I think even though it's really annoying for your opponent, it's kind of you should get the reward for doing it.
Fair enough.
And also because you can peel them off in combat. Like you have to set, you have to set it up really, really well.
And they have to pretty much carry on from your guys' points. If their character is in a position that you can charge both of them, they're either out of position, which is their fault. It's either out of position, or last turn you had a really good one and you just won the heroic roll off.
Yeah.
My
Because if they're
brother's
in a
not
position,
happy
it's
about
just-
Cobain being at 5.
I have seen that. Just wait for the rest of it. I was
What?
tossing between
Oh,
Batswarm
okay.
and Cobain being 4th and 5th. And
To be fair, I feel like they
I
fit
crossed out.
5th because it's just objectives.
Yeah, I crossed out Warbats to put Cobain in. So,
Oh.
Speaking of which,
is that
I'll
your
go on my number 4, which is Warbats.
Warbat?
The ability to fly over, knock banner bearers prone, pick off like models, and still just be a flying model. And they're quite good at killing stuff as well, and help other guys out because
I need to
you may
look
not
at
do
their
the fight
profile a
value
bit more.
thing. They reduce the enemy defense by 2. So that like
nice.
D7, D6 hero, you suddenly like a bit threatening
Chop,
because
chop,
they
chop.
are strength 4 as well, I think.
But that is only in terms of the Warbat's strikes, not anything else helping it. So I was just thinking, it's the only reason that you don't just go +1 to wound instead, because then you can drag like D9 down to D7, and then it's not, you got 2 rolls.
The way that I see it is like D7, D8 usually, like you'll then be wounding on 5s instead of 6s. And then if you can trap it, which you can do often with flying models, then you've actually got 4 dice and you can do quite a lot of damage.
I'm just wondering why they bothered to do it in this weird way of you.
I don't know. In honesty, it's maybe them going like, let's try and do something a bit different with this bat. But yeah,
They're also only 25 a pop.
yeah. So they're cheap
Yeah.
and still 2 wounds.
Yeah.
Strength 4.
And World Champion has proved that they're good in big numbers.
Is it
Yeah.
40 mil base?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason why they weren't as popular or as seen was because they didn't have a model and no one knew what size base they were on for a long time.
And I feel like a lot of people try to run like bat swarms or something, and tiers were like, no.
Well, no, it's just more. I think it is generally the basing issue, and also they appear in Azog's Legion, which wasn't the most popular competitive army. It was Will was probably the only one, other than maybe myself, who's used Azog's Legion to go to competitive events and usually as part of an allied historic alliance matrix.
So, Gethin, number 4, please.
Felbeast, I've specified Kamul, but I guess it could just be Felbeast in general. I just think Kamul's probably the best on Felbeast out of the Wraiths.
Oh, that's interesting.
It complements his rule.
I'm just
very
thinking because of
nicely.
like the whole killing aspect. Obviously, it helps with the casting, but I was just thinking of the killing.
But I'd also say Kamul's one of the ones which you can take not on Felbeast.
Yeah, but you're
I
you.
guess.
No, but as in like,
it's a fair point.
as in like he because I'd almost say, I don't know, who's the fight 6 one? The with the banner effect. Dark Marshal, I think, benefits the most from the Felbeast, arguably.
Yeah.
Dave Farmer says this value for points are just good in every sense.
It's just what we think is good.
There's literally no like.
This is
we don't
all
have parameters.
all subjective.
We've got 5 minutes. We can't.
CJ, number 4.
This is number 4. Yeah, I went for Raddy's Eagle. Much the same as we discussed earlier. Just provides a huge amount for the 50 points. It gives him a huge amount of damage output and magic range threat.
Yes, definitely. Do you want to move on to your number 3 while we're at it?
Staying with it, Guai here, because he can ally with everything and provide this.
Can't ally with Mordor.
Oh, Alistair.
That's the thing with good alliances is you basically get the E's, the Ents, Eagles, and Elves can ally with everything, or the White Council, and it's kind of annoying in terms of list.
Yeah, I don't like that aspect of it. It's one of the few things I don't like that you can drop Lady of Light or Guahe into any list.
That brief point where everyone was about to ally quick beam in to every army because he was because he was an 8-inch move monster with heroic march and he could go everywhere, and then the heroic valor came in, and then the amount of like lists that I know people were planning that just got scrapped because they're just like, well, can't do that anymore because I'm not taking Treebeard and quick beam.
Yeah, somebody did the Jason Momoa tackling somebody meme with that. Was just,
as we called that Harry earlier, Jack Canavan's just subscribed.
Oh, you say we, you.
Yeah.
We don't see this.
Yeah.
So I'll move on to my number 3.
Actually, my number 3, by the way, is Guahe as well.
Okay.
So we can just cross that.
I completely forgot about Guahe. My number 3 is also a G, but it's Gulliver.
I completely forgot about Gulliver.
I wanted to put him on the
2.
list, but I didn't know.
I still don't know if Gulliver may have made it in at number 5 for me.
I think he is good. I've not used him extensively, but he is very good when it comes off.
If you can get the most out of him, he's really good. But
that's my issue with it.
He's I don't know. I feel like this is me being a bit anti like the Gulliver crowd more than actually.
Well, didn't the Australian person win the World Cup or whatever with?
Kind
of getting any of this
the Australian person winning the World Cup.
Yes.
Kylie won
the Masters.
With Gulliver.
Yeah.
But the army gets built around Gulliver, so it was basically designed to enable Gulliver. So
like that's
the issue with
that's my issue with issue with the list is I've played Gulliver a couple of times, and that was with camels in the old edition. And the camels charge Gulliver, they cause a couple of wounds. Suddenly he's a 2 wound model.
He also doesn't have strike, so you need to shut down it. I mean, the list can shut down enemy heroes with paralyzed, but you need to, otherwise. Even just an average hero can.
And building at different points. So Gulliver is 200 points, but you don't want to use his might for heroic moves, so you probably need a captain or you need Birder. Then you need, obviously, to shut other heroes down, so you need a Barrow White, probably 2, or a Wraith. Mm-hmm. So suddenly, to get the most out of Gulliver, instead of just spending 200 points, you're spending like 100 minimum to make him work.
And you can have the situation, which I've had a couple times when we play Gulliver, where you charge 2 guys for 2 sphere supports, you fluff your rolls, he's only defense 5, and then they do like 2-3 wounds. And it's there going... It's not beyond the realms that happens, because he is just quite squishy. I mean, he's very good when you can get him going, but he is the definition of glass cannon.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. High risk, high reward. I think, he is a high points Angmar machine, but...
See, for me, even at high points, he doesn't come in because you want the numbers and you want a shade. When I get to 750 points, I drop a shade in, so...
And he dies of throwing weapons, so...
So, Gethin's number 3.
Smaug.
How did I not think of Smaug?
Oh no, I knew as soon as Gethin was mentioning, I don't know if they're any good or stuff like that. But
how did I not think of Smaug? Yeah, fair enough.
Big badass dragon.
Yeah, I don't know.
Amazing model.
Much to say about Smaug.
Also wins certain certain games.
Yeah,
pretty much loses other ones as well. Yeah. You can do the Devon tactic of no fly zones to counter him, but if that's not being used against you, you can go wherever, kill whatever.
Yeah.
You just set them on fire, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm going to make an opening.
Yeah.
I will go.
The idea was Devon spreads his entire Lake Town army across the board, so Smaug couldn't move
because
of terrain, and you can't land anywhere.
I've done that against an all-eagle army when I was playing Heirlooms at the ETC. It's just because he had the prize on eagle, I just had to stop the eagle being able to move, so I had my 48 dwarfs just spread out to cover all 12-inch bubble around them so they couldn't move.
I will also mention the Mummox I hate Smaug. I don't think it should ever be used.
Yeah.
Do you just not like big things?
I don't like the models which break a bunch of the game. That's my issue with them. The fact that they break so many rules, so it causes hell for the TO, it causes hell for the people playing. It is basically the aspect of if someone can't turn up and play against the model for the first time and understand what it fully understand the rules, then I have an issue with it, I think.
I'm with you to an extent. I don't think it's a good tournament experience.
No, people don't enjoy playing
it's fun
against it
to do once.
Yeah.
And you don't want it at a tournament really, because it will either screw you over.
That's
or
why
not.
I think every single one of the tournaments I've ever ran has been minimum 3 models, just so Smaug can't be used.
Well, if it's 800 points, you go Smaug, Bat Swarm, and like a Goblin
Never done
Captain
it.
or
I don't
whatever.
think I've done 800 points, but
Smaug,
I just banned Smaug.
Barrow White.
I would ban Mumux as well, but then people got. I think I tried, and then people got a bit pissy. But yeah, it's just the issue of it can be a really not fun experience because of,
if you start banning
not because of the
models,
model, but the rules and stuff
if
like
you
that.
start banning models like that, you're on a very, very slippery slope.
I mean, I already banned the Alliance chart, didn't I? So
You ban the Alliance chart.
I got rid of the Alliance chart.
Oh yeah.
Only pure factions or legendary legion.
No, just like
just everyone can go with everyone.
Everyone's completely
the
Alliance.
complete-
Like,
other.
back in the good old days.
Oh God, you got.
He doesn't break the
dear.
rules; he makes the rules. I don't think that's true, Matt.
To be fair, Matt
but,
did have a whole
yeah.
entire FAQ section dedicated to him when he took Smaug, to
exactly.
the GT.
There you go.
Oh dear.
But yeah, that's my number 3.
Yeah. Who said Gulliver was their number 2?
Me.
TJ. Cool. So yeah, like I say, he's good, but
I've got a
I
match
wish he was better.
as Gulliver with Witch King on Fellbeast and Shade, and it's horrible.
I
She's a
think if
double
you
flying
take-
monster. And
See, I was
Yeah.
thinking if you take Gulliver, you don't need the Witch King on Fellbeast. You're better off going on the horse.
probably not, but it's
yeah.
so much of a headache to deal with because then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, the Witch King's going to move that one there, then he's going to fly there, and
See-
then Gulliver's going to come in, and there's a hurl.
See, CJ, this is where being hungover on day 2 has a positive effect. 'Cause you've
Okay.
already got the headache, so it doesn't really matter like that you've caused me one.
So another thing with Gulliver,
Mhm.
this is a negative. When I played Harry Moore Angmar on Angmar Contest of Champions at Ardacon, I managed to use my Spectre to move Gulliver because he failed his courage test.
He's only courage 4, isn't he? Well, his courage is his wounds value.
Yeah, and then the Witch King makes it courage 3.
Yeah.
And he hadn't taken any wounds, and I was
Here's-
like, cool, fly 12 inches that away from me, please.
Here's an interesting FAQ question. So if you do drain courage on Gulliver,
Doesn't
would you just
matter.
always have -1 to whatever his wound count is?
I don't think it would affect him.
I don't.
What
Yeah,
do you
I,
think
don't,
it-
I don't think it. As a TR,
Yeah.
I would say it doesn't
Yeah.
affect him.
I think there's something about if it's question mark or asterisk for a characteristic, you're not allowed to mess with it.
Or you
Outside
can't.
of
Or
its
you,
own
or
rule.
you
'Cause I
can't.
wasn't-
You can't mess with it. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just more like, I mean,
Yeah.
that would come up. I was just wondering.
There have been loads of things like if you do stun or there's loads of people trying to come up with tricky ways. Like if I do this with Gulliver, does he suddenly have 0 attacks?
Oh no, that's Floy. Floy and
Floy,
Gulliver
Yeah.
get on like a house on fire, basically. Yeah.
Well, it just makes people cry.
The thing is, he's not actually like.
I'm so glad he's not around anymore.
Yeah. Or I just.
Oh no, I'm
I-
glad.
I-
I'm glad that the army composition and the allies
Yeah.
matrix makes him not be seen anymore. 'cause he was
I
everywhere.
generally though want Floy, like a Lawmaster, to be a generic dwarf model,
Yeah.
and then you can have Floy as just a special one, because I feel like it's a cool thing that could go in like the Khazad-dûm list, and you could just make him a minor hero, so you can't ally in him unless if you take Jur.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the Khazad-dûm allies matrix is it an elf or Arnor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you have many options you could cheese it up with, but
Yeah.
I just always thought it'd be cool to have an actual Lawmaster sort of as their wizard profile.
Yeah. What's your number
like
2
a
then? Ali?
Stormcaller or something. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mine-
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's
My
exactly
num-
it. Like a storm.
Yeah, my number 2 is the Bat Swarms,
Nice.
for pretty much all the reasons we described. You can do
Mhm.
cool shenanigans. Someone at the GT had the Watch in the Water and a Bat Swarm positioned, so he could drag
You are
Jur
not
in
allowed
through
to
the
do
line.
that. You are
Um,
not allowed to do that. That's cheating.
Is it? I
Because
beat
it
him anyway.
happens. It happens. The shooting attacks are in the shoot phase, which means you cannot charge. Which means your bat swarm might be touching that model, but it is not engaged with it.
But have I not charged him?
How do you mean?
Because my Durin has been dragged in to the Watcher and has charged the Watcher.
Well, there's like if you barged somebody, there's loads of ways to move a model into contact
but I
with
mean,
something
because
without
I end up fighting
fighting.
the Watcher,
I'd
because that is in the
assume not,
rule.
Because I'd assume that the Watcher specifies that you're not fighting the Watcher.
So
Not that the model's then charged.
Let's
so
have a look.
That'd be really weird wording if it wording.
I mean,
the most frustrating thing about not frustrating thing, but the most confusing thing about the current edition in my mind is splitting the fights apart at the end of the move phase.
yeah, because no one does it anyway until.
Because if you call a heroic combat,
Oh yeah, you can then change your mind if it was your priority to make it harder or easier.
But then if you had a siege,
Oh yeah, and then
it's
you then have
yeah.
to do it again.
Yeah. So that technically that second combat doesn't happen.
But then also it's a stupid thing with Sorcerer's Blast, because you don't do it until the end of the move phase, and so you've got all these combats which happen to be in base contacts, like daisy chaining. Technically, you Sorcerer's Blast one on the end, they all then get affected
Yeah,
as it just goes down the line.
I remember Mick bringing this up at the start of the edition, and people kicked off. It's like, I mean, it's not.
It was a thing from last edition as well, I think.
Yeah.
It's just like never actually changed, and I think it's a thing that people just go, let's not do it. But,
well, yeah, I mean, the fact that it's the end of the move phase, with siege engines, you would just get something knocked over and then kaboom, the entire board is on the floor.
Yeah.
Especially if it hurls through.
Yeah. Actually, this is a weird thing. So it says the models moved in for the Watcher dragging in do not count as having charged. At which point, should a combat actually even happen?
Yeah, because
I mean, I know it does because it goes on and says it, but it's there going like if neither model has charged, and technically like.
Well, the main thing that's for is that you don't get cav bonuses, you don't get.
Yeah.
I know it's just like, if you took it word like literally. It's they go, no one's charged, and a charge is in the move phase or the combat phase. Yeah. Anyway, still Bats form number 2.
Yeah, cool.
For like all the reasons we've gone through.
I mean, can you imagine how obnoxious a auto kill thing that would be if you just like, here's the Bat Swarm, here's the Watcher, pull anything in and just eat it in one go?
To be fair, you did it to Jones heroic defense for 3 turns in a row.
Ooh, you evil man.
I mean. He was the one who, like, apparently was cheating me out of the game. But I mean, I won the game anyway because he spent too much time eating Durin. And then I went and smashed his goblins with my dwarfs. But
at least with a Cave Drake, if somebody heroic defenses against you, you can just try and swallow it. Whereas with the Watchers, can't do anything.
Yeah.
Unless you're in water, then you can go clump. But that never happens because your opponent is never stupid enough to let you get anywhere near water.
When you don't get enough water on the board anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, surely if someone heroic defenses, you just throw them away and then whip them back.
Yeah, but you want to eat them.
But you just whip them back next turn.
Depends how far you throw them.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Next person.
Sorry. Gethin, you're number 2.
Quite
here. Nice. My number 2, because we'll try and wrap up before 11, is Radagast on Eagle. For all the said points, I just think he's really cool. And he does the job of a wizard and a monster at the same time. So.
Dave Farmer disagrees with you, CJ, by the way.
I make a point of never arguing with David Farmer. I went Bat Swarms for number 1 just because, if you know how to use them, they are pretty much unstoppable. And they're great for nipping and grabbing objectives. And in a list that really struggles with mobility, like sometimes I'll get Drazag in just because I can then get a fleet of wild wargs. But here's the prize. Bye. Bat Swarm's gone.
Yeah, nice.
Although you were saying about doing the courage thing with Gullivar, there is nothing more annoying in the world than a Wood Elf Sentinel going, toodaloo, bye, Bat Swarm. And you've lost it for basically 3 turns.
Yeah, pretty much. So. Gethin, number 1.
Warbats. Just
nice.
being able to fly over, not be in any danger, and just harass the opponent, get in the head.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. I think
We spoke about Warbats already,
yeah,
so yeah.
and and
I feel like there's going to be a lot of repeats actually.
Alistair?
I got Cravain at number 1
Nice.
for all the reasons we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And actually, my brother did bring up a good point in chat. They bring
Yeah.
so much to the Isengard list
yeah,
in terms of like
massive.
utility.
You
Massive.
do also have access to wild riders in Isengard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just double the points, you get like so much better model at doing what the
Yeah.
Wild Riders did.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess yeah.
So
The only annoying thing with Crabine and Bat Swarms is they're infantry, and so you can just get them run over.
Mm.
And that's the way to take them out really quickly. And then
Yeah.
you just
What do you mean take an Iron Hills Chariot?
Well, they've got a really weird thing about not counting what they actually knock over. So, like the Khandish Charioteer, not the hero one, can't knock over anything except a Hobbit. And then, yeah, the Iron Hills Chariot, if it runs into Strength 4, just goes, right, we've got the momentum of an enormous war machine and we can't knock this.
We do the
one
impact
over.
hits, but we can't.
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough. I think my top one isn't anyone. Well, people have mentioned it a little bit. Mine's the Witch King on Felbeast. I just think it gives him masses, and the fact he can have so much might, will, and fate.
Do you
and
give him the crown on Felbeast?
yes,
Yes.
but not for the 3 attacks.
No,
Yeah,
for the
for the
the
yeah.
re-roll.
Because
For
I
the-
always
for the
feel like it's a bit
spellcasting.
redundant.
No,
In
for the
some
spell
ways.
casting. I would, even if it didn't give me 3 attacks, I'd still pay it for the
Oh
spells.
yeah,
Yeah.
The spell casting's the main part.
Because I like to go a bit budget on my heroes, I prefer the idea of going Witch King on foot with crown.
Most of the
On
time,
foot?
well, on
Not foot, on horse.
I was
Sorry.
gonna
I was gonna say.
pretty
On
much,
foot.
pretty much
I mean,
all my
That's
builds,
brave.
all my builds are Witch King on horse with crown. But I think on Felbeast with crown, with 16, 18 will and 3 might, 3 fate, like
Mhm.
it is tough to bring down.
So
Mhm.
actually, I've got a genuine question about your list. So you got Rally on Eagle, but you don't have Guahir.
Yeah,
He said that you forgot about Guahir.
Is it okay?
It's a
So wait,
general-
you genuinely were thinking Eagles and you forgot Guahir.
correct.
Where would you put Guahir if you hadn't forgot?
Probably swap out Gulliver.
Yeah, so you still got him below Rally on Eagle.
Yeah,
Because I think Guahir, I prefer him to Rally on Eagle because he's 50 points cheaper.
but
And
Ruddy can time up with spells.
Yeah, no, I just mean like as in it's fairly balanced sort of. I
Oh
just mean I
yeah.
generally
No,
prefer,
it's if I have a choice, I generally run Guahir, but I think Ruddy is probably decent enough.
Yeah.
To be fair, most points I've run, like most tournaments I've run Eagles at, it fits with Guahir rather than Ruddy on Eagle.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, if I'm taking both, Ruddy's on a sleigh.
And yet you're still ranking Rally on Eagle higher than Guahir.
Yes.
I like that logic.
Yes.
Because I really liked the sleigh profile and the
I think it's
and
awesome.
the model, but I just think the slightest breeze and it
I know.
gets knocked
See-
over.
CJ, what you do is you go really like balls deep and you go two-handed as well. And you just rely on Sebastian to win the combat for you.
I tell you what, a 750 point list that I've used and I enjoyed is Ruddy on sleigh with Sebastian, Guahir, and 4 Eagles. It's
I used to take similar.
it's good. You just Nature's Wrath, and then you've just got 5 Eagles just hurling, and knocking everything over.
Mm.
And-
Michael Haskell brings up a good point about Cravain not being in Lurtz to Scout Legendary Legion, despite that's when like the Cravain are what helped them find them.
But they never.
But that was before the
Yeah.
Crabane was Fellowship.
It's
Yeah.
quite
Before
far
they
apart, yeah.
before they even brought the Uric Sim, right?
The
Yeah,
Crabane
I
are
think so.
before they go up Karadra, so yeah, it's just
Yeah.
miles away.
Have we even
Unless
seen-
it's a book thing that I can't remember from 15 years
To
ago.
be fair.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Urukai before that scene?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's one that
We've
you've
seen the orcs and we've seen them.
Have you
with
seen
the
them make
fire and stuff.
Lurtz? That was pretty early on.
Sure.
So yeah, the closest they really get is when
as well.
the Krebine come back to talk to Saruman while he's in the pit, watching the Uruks getting built.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But
Getting built.
don't know what else you'd call it really.
Breeding
Spawned.
pits.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, with Michael's point about the Mummock throwing a scores 3 years ago, he was against someone with a Mummock. You basically had to keep calling like J or like disagreeing with the rules, and it's just like kind of ruins the game experience, like the flow.
I think on that point, if you're taking a Mummock, make sure you know the rules.
Yeah, but
sometimes it's like
even
your
if I
opponent
played-
doesn't know.
Even if I played Dan Entwistle, like Dan Entwistle probably knows all the rules. There'd still be things
Oh,
where I'm
he's
like, are
not
you
a rules
sure?
lawyer, so he'll just change it if he
Yeah.
doesn't.
But I'd just be like, are you sure that's how it works? Because that doesn't sound right to me. And then we'd be like discussing stuff. Especially because I bring weird lists, so I probably have a weird thing that interacts with it.
And there's just a general sort of like thing in a game if you're continually having to ask for rules, like not even like it can just break up the game and the flow and be a bit annoying.
Yeah,
it's the most annoying thing about playing Hobbits for me is not the numbers. It's
the
where's the one that
rules.
does this one?
Yeah. Similar with Lake Town, right? Just like, so Bard gets this when Bane's around, and this when.
But the thing with the Hobbits is because I've played. The farmer was using the Legion, so he had the traps. Is none of the traps are consistent in when you roll to get out of them, what strength they are, what they like. They're all just annoyingly different, and it's not just all of them you see at the end of the turn whether you get out. It's like one's when you want to move, take a strength test, one's at the end of the turn,
one of them is like
roll a
paralyzed.
dice. It's just sort of
so I think I've really enjoyed tonight's stream. It's been nice to get on it again.
It's been good, yeah.
2 weeks is enough that you want to do it. And apologies for the late start this evening. That was Alistair's fault.
That way, I think.
Yes,
to be fair,
that way.
Obviously we didn't start that late because you were recording before I even turned up by accident.
Yeah, apparently for those watching back, you got some excellent bonus
I don't even know.
shite essentially at the start of the stream. So
I don't even know what we were talking about.
More relevant stuff, I think, at one point. Than what we talked about in the stream.
Oh, yeah, because I was pointing out, like, we shouldn't be streaming this discussion.
Yeah.
So the next stream will be on the 10th of August, and then the next one after that is the 24th, which will be quite interesting because I will have been at Ardacon that weekend, so we can have in a month's time we can have a little chat.
Could be quite a big
I
discussion.
would have also
about
been to Preston, which is be like the first GVHO 100, not in Ireland anyway. Like,
So we can have a
lockdown.
We can have a bit more of it might be a bit more of a tournament focused chat.
I wouldn't have done anything. Maybe painted some models.
Yeah, I was gonna say. CJ, do you know when you move? And have you got internet prepared?
Have I got internet? Yeah, I've just lost connection twice in the last couple of minutes. Yeah, BT covers 75% of the UK population. They can't give me a poxy signal.
Well, out of the four of us, statistically, one of us then, if it's only 75%, shouldn't get a great signal.
It's the week beginning August the 16th, some point in that week. So,
nice.
So a week that we're not recording.
Yeah.
Not that we're recording, no. So actually, cool. On my second day of work, I might have to crawl back to my hotel or wherever I am, and they're just like, "Oh, what do you lot want again?"
We'll put a picture of our sponsor in your stead.
Yeah.
Gorilla Glue.
Might have a new one by then.
I may do it as a meme, actually. You know, the one where like he's checking out the girl while he's got normal glue, and then he's checking out Gorilla Glue over there.
What, and just a cardboard box and a really useful box.
Yeah.
Just put CJ's face on it as well.
Yeah.
Because he's not here.
So I hope everyone watching has enjoyed this evening. Really thank you for all the interaction on the chat, and let's keep it up for next time because it's been really interesting to interact with everyone. So we will catch you in 2 weeks. I hope you have a good hobby session up till then. I've got shit to paint for Ardacon, so I'm getting on it. So we will see you all